Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I am Ketchup.
And I am Mustard.
And you're watching Week 2 of the top 16 of the EU ESL Mortal Kombat X Pro League presented by Xbox. So just a couple of days ago, we did see the top 8 of the first week of the European Pro League, where we saw Foxy Grandpa and Nivek have a very, very close final set in the grand finals of that. Both players did manage to take quite dominant routes into the grand finals, but ultimately Foxy Grandpa did take that set. We saw some crazy comebacks, some crazy plays, but that wasn't all we saw that week. I think it was a very diverse top 8. I mean, the important thing was that, this is a European-wide competition, and we had a lot of Europe represented in that top 8 alone. Going into this top 16, we have an even more diverse range of players. But from that top 8 we saw so many good matches, some really, as you mentioned, some crazy comebacks, some really clutch plays, and some great situations where players kept their composure and gave us some really good games. Well, then it was all about, it was the first week, so we did expect to see some nervous plays, some combo drops, that sort of thing, but a lot of the players, especially in sort of the later stages, we saw some just really good gameplay and some really tight execution. But that was week 1. We are now going into week 2, where yet again there is a weekly prize money of $1,000, which will get split up among the top 8 today. But that's not the most important thing, is the placement points. That is what the players want to be earning, because the top 5 placement point earners throughout the entirety of the first league will be sent to the Burbank finals on July 11th, where they'll be playing out for a minimum of $50,000 prize pot. These tournaments do start every Sunday, and they'll play through until top 16, which are then broadcast on Wednesday, where you'll be able to watch them just like this, and maybe even you can get on these streams as well. If you want any information on where you can sign up, follow the brackets, or see any regulations and rules for this tournament, do visit esl.gg/MKX Pro League. And mortalkombat.com/who's next to find more information about this league. Much like our last show though, don't think that the players can be walking away with stuff. They're the only ones tonight. You at home using Twitch chat can use our prediction point system. This is simply done by doing !predict followed by the points you'd like to spend, followed by the player you think will win each set. Everyone will start with 10 points, so spend them wisely, don't waste them, and you increase your chance at winning a copy of the game on Xbox One. If you want to stay up to date on this tournament and future tournaments, you can follow ESL Mortal Kombat on Twitter and NetherRealm on Twitter, ESL Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat on Facebook, and ESL and MK Community Manager on YouTube. So as we said before, there is $1,000 to be won today, so let's have a quick look at how that's going to get broken down between the top places today. So as just like it was last time, first place will take $500, second place will take $300, and then respectively third and fourth will take $100. But as we've said so many times before, that is not the most important thing. The important thing is the placement league points. So first place will be walking away with 100 points, second place with 75, third and fourth 50, and it goes all the way down until top 32, which will then earn 5 points. As you can see, it is all to play for today. It's a very important time for these players, no doubt about it, but we had a very interesting week 1, and for those that may have potentially missed the competition or really didn't quite catch some of the matches, then we've put together a little sort of top 5 plays video for you to check out to really see what the level of competition is right now. So let's check it out.
Peggy 18.
Here are the top 5 plays from Week 1 of the ESL MKX Pro League. Number 5, the corner trade between Sonic Fox and Rio. At number 4, Perfect Legend is too fast for Rio. At number 3, Rio gets his revenge. At number 2, Pig of the Hut shows the power of Kenshi. And at number 1, Jinky Dink puts bread in the corner.
You will obey.
Tune in to the ESL Mortal Kombat X Pro League, presented by Xbox.
So we saw there some very strong play from the North American side of the top, the ESL Pro League that we're about to see. If you want to check those guys out, make sure you stay tuned after Europe is finished to make sure you can watch those too. But we're not watching North American play right now, we're watching European play. And I'm really, really excited to see what Top 16 brings today. I mean, we have some fantastic players coming into this. We have Master VHD, who made Top 16 last week, who is now, we can watch his game today when he's coming up against Fasol, who was another player we saw in the top 8 last time, doing some really good Buzzsaw Kung Lao and some really good Katana play as well. But that's not the only players we're going to see here this week. I think the interesting thing for me here is that we have players like Mitsu Owens, who was one of the finalists for the ESL preseason, with a very dominant Scorpion that time. We have players like Euphemism, people like Mr. Aquari, who we have seen in the preseasons but haven't had a chance to shine in the actual season now that's begun. We have players, returning players. We have people like Foxy Grandpa, we have Nivek. These guys are back and they are raring to play. They want those points and they want that cash prize. But it looks like our first match right now is going to be Fasol versus Master VHD. But let's talk about Master VHD for a second. Well, Master VHD, we've seen him playing a lot of online. He plays the ranked matches quite a lot. But we saw him most recently at the Belgium Mortal Kombat Cup qualifier, where he has managed to qualify his place into the finals for the Belgium side of it, Mortal Kombat Cup being a European-wide offline tournament scene. And he's managed to qualify quite convincingly for that. I believe he was first in his group. He played some really good Kano, very good Cutthroat. I know he plays Cybernetic as well, but Cutthroat is more the variation we see him use a lot. But he also brought out some Grandmaster Sub-Zero to really, sort of counterpick as well when he feels that Kano isn't going to really do that. So we'll see if he can do that today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have 3 minutes starting from now to make your predictions once again. If you think Fasol's going to win, predict on him. If you think that Master VHD is going to win, then predict on him, as you would expect. Both players, there's no slouch. You can't really call it at this point. I think, although we haven't seen Master play, he is a very strong player. It depends on what character he goes. It also depends on what character Fasol is going to roll with. He had a very strong Buzzsaw Kung Lao last time we saw him play, but as we saw against Foxy, he does play Katana also. So I think with both these players, we know they can play multiple characters, and it's really going to come down to who are they going to play in this tournament. Well, it's like you said last time, Fasol plays multiple fighting games. We've seen play all sorts up until this point, but when it's early on, he shows some really good promise at that early stage. He picks up mechanics quickly. Yeah, he does pick up mechanics very fast. Well, it's even like we saw yesterday. His set against Foxy was quite one-sided, but he did adapt quite well, and the matches became progressively more and more sort of towards his side. And hopefully we can see that today. He might be able to run a train straight through the grand finals, but again, he will come up against Foxy if Foxy finds himself winning as well. And something worth pointing out, Nivek and Foxy Grandpa, last time's finalists, cannot be in the grand finals this time. They'll be meeting quite early on in this bracket. So we will see very little rematches that we saw last time, I think. It does give us a good opportunity, though, to really see if someone can just sneak in there and then take out some of these killers. That's what I really like about these online leagues, and that it gives these players that would often not have the chance to go to a tournament locally and really make a name for themselves. These free-to-enter online tournaments really give them a chance to do that. So we have players here like Euphemism, for example, who, we've known Euphemism for a long time, being from the UK ourselves, but he hasn't, he's a Scottish player. He's a Scottish player from near Glasgow. So he hasn't really had a chance to make a name for himself, but here he is in the top 16 ready to play. Well, that's what I mean. It gives players this opportunity to really show what they can do on a more comfortable scale to them as well, because obviously you can just do it from your home, wherever you happen to play. But again, we see players like Tough Gong is here again. We're seeing Pulsar again. So a lot of returning players are managing to keep that consistency, which again will always result in those really important league points adding up and giving them that really good chance at being sent to the Burbank finals, because that's something that everyone who takes part wants. That is what you enter for, is because you want to go to those finals, you want to stand a chance to win that. Again, minimum $50,000. That's what they're here for. So we'll see if they can do it. I don't think, who doesn't want to be on the world stage? You want to be part of that 16 best players in the world, proven. You're not going to be able to breeze your way through to this position. You have to take out so many players every week to reach that point. And the fact that we have returning players here, it kind of shows us that they have what it takes to keep it together, level up their game, and then come back next week even stronger, and hopefully placing higher than they did the week before. Especially if they were in the kind of top 4 range. If you're in like the top 4, if you want to improve, that's top 3. If you want to improve, that's grand finals. So as we get higher and higher, the margin of improving is so high if you want to reach the higher part in the tournament. Well, earlier on we were talking consistency, but one player that's managed to make his way into top 16 this week that we haven't mentioned right now is I'm Still the Daddy. Absolutely. He is a world-class Street Fighter player, but here he is playing Mortal Kombat, managing to get his way to top 16 this week. He entered the majority of the preseason cups and did very well in them. I believe he made it all the way to semi-finals in one of them as well. And he plays Takeda, he plays Kung Jin. He managed to get 3rd place at a recent Combat Cup qualifier event in the UK using multiple characters. So we have these other players that are coming to this game with those fundamentals that they've acquired over the years of playing fighting games, applying that to Mortal Kombat X, and again, here they are in the top 16. So hopefully we get to see him play not too shortly.
I think we have a nice, as I've mentioned before though, just sort of the variety of players. I think that's what really excites me, is that we have loads of different areas represented in this tournament.
Well, it's not just multiple countries, it's multiple games. Like,
exactly.
People are really coming together to play this game with this opportunity.
I mean, many people really considered, I'm Still the Daddy to be, he was the best Street Fighter Guile player in Europe. He had a lot of success with that game, and he's picking up a new game, and like many of these players, their ability to pick up a game quickly with these early game tournaments to really sort of just show that they're here to play, and they want those points.
But it's also
that's what they want.
picks. It's also down to character picks. I mean, like I said before, we saw I'm Still the Daddy playing Bujitsu Kung Jin last time we saw him playing competitively. Now, Bujitsu Kung Jin is a very powerful character right now. A lot of people are playing him, but he fits the mechanics of the game very well. So if you're coming to the game when you're not really a Mortal Kombat guy, Bujitsu Kung Jin will really sort of help you mold the way you play this game so you understand the game a bit better, if you know what I mean, because he's got the armor, he's got the wake-ups, he's got the damage, he's got the conversions, he's got everything you could need in a character, and his execution isn't too bad either, so he's a really good character to pick for someone like that, and I like seeing players really making the most of, again, how important character choice is.
But it looks like we might be rocking into the first game of this top 16 for the European players. Looks like Master VHD has indeed gone for Cutthroat Kano. Cutthroat Kano being arguably one of his more stronger variations, purely because he gets true 50-50s in this variation. In other variations, he has no overhead starter. In this variation, he does. But it's a very close range overhead, so you have to be really on point with hitting it. He did manage to take the first bar of the meter using his down 4. Kano with very good pokes. He's making the most of it. Great spacing for Master VHD. Really good confirm. That's something you'll see a lot from Master VHD, is these crazy confirms into the EX knife. That seems to be what he saves most of his meter for. He's really controlling this match right now. That was a lovely anti-air, but unfortunately, Faso has actually managed to find his way out the corner. Goes to double low. A really nice block on that. Chip damage will kill at this point, and that will actually close out round 1. But one of the things about Master VHD is his ability to capitalize almost every touch into that meter burn knife uppercut. That's one of the moves he gets in this variation, is the ability to juggle the opponent for more damage. He ends a lot of combos in that Kano Ball. The Kano Ball is a hard knockdown, so the opponent actually, they have to get up at a set time, which gives you a more consistent setup as they rise. So he's ending every touch in that, which also gives him a lot of corner carry, being this version of Kano does have a really scary corner game, which we've seen Master VHD use before. Oh, unfortunately, no real punish on the spin, but he went for it, perhaps just a small input error. He had a really good read, though. He had a really good read on that meter burn spin, but unfortunately didn't quite get the punish he wanted. He needs to kind of shake that off and kind of keep it together, really.
Well,
lovely air to air.
Lovely air to air. He lost the bar from it early, so even if he didn't get the punish, he did lose the bar. Ooh, really good confirm. Wake up ball cancels out its combo, but Fasol does use his 2 bars of meter to break away. Fasol now sitting at no bars, but he does go in for the dive kick anyway. The hard reads.
He tags him right as he tries to neutral jump. I mean, this could potentially be the round. One combo will potentially tighten this up. We have another conversion to meter burn knife. As we've said, those conversions are double conversion for more damage. He's going to win this round. Oh my days, the Kano Ball whiffed. That was a mighty whiff.
You hate to see that kind of thing happen.
No one wants that. You spend the 2 bars because you're confident you're going to win the round, and then your combo drops. I mean, that Kano Ball would have been huge, but he just needs to shake it off. Unfortunately, he's in the corner against Buzzsaw Lau. I don't think this is a very fun place to be. Oh, he's getting tagged by the low hat shenanigans once again.
Fasol's really making most, although he hasn't got access to the hat. This is where Master V, he goes in, he does get the touch. He's managing to fight his way really out of the corner. Does yet again, ending that ball, sprints up, gets right into space, but the Fasol with a good read on the meter burn spin.
Such an amazing wake-up attack. But he's not out. One more combo will tidy this up. He doesn't quite get the convert. I don't think he was confident in the air-to-air, but that was not going to be a full combo. He's still okay. It was a good whip punish, but the fact that he ended it into low hat, he may have just assumed he'd recover in time and he just wanted the low hat in general, but he did manage to get the hit, which gave him the good advantage. At this point, Fasol can really sort of play patiently, but he has to be very careful because Kano has really good ways in as well. Oh, a lovely reaction! Lovely reactions on that hat toss. Next hit will probably take this. And there's the regular spin!
Normal spin. Literally what I said, like, that was a normal spin.
He wanted to go central.
He wanted to do the normal spin to save his meter so he then had the breaker available, but the spin hit. I mean, again, like we said, I think as long as we're seeing Kung Lao play, we're going to be repeating a lot of what we said last time.
That was a lot of spins, and that was a lot of low hats. That's what we're going to be saying a lot.
He spin to win. That's what you do.
Win.
But the thing is, as long as you see Kung Lao, you're going to be seeing a lot of that because it's a really powerful tool.
It's staple in his game plan.
But again, when the threat of the meter burn spin is established, then you get away with normal spins.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is,
it's an endless vicious circle.
As we mentioned before, when Kung Lao has meter available, you expect a meter burn spin. which means that when he throws a low hat or some kind of negative block string where the opponent would normally press buttons, if you've got meter bend spin, you need to be careful about when you press a button, because you might just eat a spin and get full comboed for it.
Well, it was a close match.
Which gives him more pressure.
It was a close game one. I mean, unfortunately, in my opinion, that's the worst way to lose a match, is when you drop your combo and that's what costs you the game. Because
especially when you spend 2 bars on it.
Well, if the combo was going to get you the round, then you made the read and your execution let you down, you didn't get outplayed technically. So that's the worst way to do it. But hopefully Master VHD can really, sort of compose himself and keep it together, because that was a close game.
It's just something that you shake off. I mean, he doesn't let it get to him. If he just brings it this time, forget that it happened, and then just nail your combo next time. I know the pressure can add up, especially in these kind of tournament scenarios. That's going to be a full combo punish. He's going to break that. Dive kick's really good at blowing up an attempt to potentially just poke out, but that read was not successful. That's going to be a conversion. The meter bend knives being plus on hit, which means he gets free pressure afterwards. Wonderful!
Lovely!
And yeah, eating the elbow there. Really nice bait on the spin. Again, doesn't quite get his combo. He did get the meter bend knife, which I think was just an input error on his part. But the important thing is Kung Lao is now still in the corner, making the most of those lows. Again, that low kick is you must crouch block that. But then as soon as you start crouch blocking, that's when you're going to open up to the overhead. But you can't really get anything going. Literally, in just one combo and a couple of low hats, he's almost cornered himself. But they're very still much mid-screen going on here. He doesn't quite get the hit confirm. He drops the combo once again, but it doesn't matter because he gets the knife.
We're seeing some very uncharacteristic drops from Master VHD right here. I mean, we saw him in Belgium. His execution was super tight. Whenever we play him online, he's always got that really good execution that you see from him. It may just be online nerves.
I was about to say, one of the things that can really happen is in these tournaments, your nerves can get the better of you and your execution suffers. Unfortunately, when your execution suffers, so does your combo damage. And so does your confidence. And he gets tagged by the meter bend spin once again. Here comes low hat shenanigans. That's one of those Foxy setups that we saw last week. Fasol may have sort of implemented that into his game plan. Just the low again. And there's the overhead. Wonderful hit confirm. Yeah, doesn't drop this, goes for an easy 29%, which does result in Kung Lao almost being cornered. And this version of Kano does have access to a power-up attack where he can sacrifice some of his health to do a massive amount of damage. We haven't seen him use it yet, but again, you sort of save that. Is he going to
win the match.
There it is! Rise, I call it! I call it! I called that, Mustard. He teleported, as I said he would teleport. And that was a really good read, and he won the round.
But
that was crazy.
So long as you see the teleport, you kind of have to assume what option's coming. Because if you're standing up, the grab will hit you. If you're crouching, the overhead will hit you. But the overhead is slower, you know?
It was really smart, though, because he hasn't teleported once the entire set. And that one time the teleport was needed to win, that's when it comes. You know, I don't think Master was expecting it.
Meter bend spins to counter poke, as I've seen him do so many times before. Such a powerful move. Master forced to break. Now cornered with no stamina and no breaker. Just dealing with a slow hat. Gets the low poke, does get the advantage, but does block it in time.
Oh, a lovely air to air there. He's going to try and tag him and just really fight his way out of this corner if he can. Here comes the wake up. He doesn't quite get the cancel. Another uncharacteristic execution error from Master VHD.
But Fasol did have a breaker available, so I'm sure he would have broke anyway, so that's not so bad. But does get hit by meter bend spin, which will take game 2 for Fasol.
And this probably brutality.
Yeah.
Here he comes. So I think he's playing much better here. He's playing more aggressive. Master, unfortunately, I think Master is showing us that he has what it takes to win these rounds, but I just think his execution it's getting the better of him at the moment. He's dropping a lot of combos.
It's only been a couple of days since we saw Fasol playing in the top 8 from week 1 of Europe. It's literally only been a couple of days, and we're seeing him do so much stuff that he didn't do a couple of days ago. He's now doing these crazy overhead low setups. He's now doing these crazy actual pressure block strings. He's ending his combos correctly. Like, a couple of days is all it's taken for him to completely reevaluate the way he plays this character, and it's really showing well for him right now.
I think sometimes when you have mirror matches, obviously we saw, not to compare obviously, but we saw Fasol fight Foxy in the mirror. I think mirror matches can be quite handy for you. I mean, no one likes playing in mirror matches, but one thing that it can do is that it really kind of, it's the highest chance you have of seeing something that you haven't seen before. Not saying that that is what happened, but it very well could have been a fact that Fasol evaluated his games like many tournament players need to do, is that he evaluated his games and looked at other players of that character, or even his own matches, and has gone, okay, what do I need to do to level up and bring it harder next time? And that's exactly what he seems to be doing.
My question at this point is, do we see him swap characters, or are we going to see Cutthroat Kano again? Because Master does have a very good Kano, but he's dropping a lot of combos that he doesn't normally drop. He's getting hit by a lot of meter bend spins that you can tell he's scouting, but he's sort of second guessing as he goes to attack, which is why he's getting hit by them. So is he going to swap to a more patient character, or is he going to really stick to his guns?
We're seeing a lot of situations here where he's actually blocking a lot. It's the mind game of the meter bend spin, where he's expecting a spin and a spin doesn't come, which gives Kung Lao more pressure for free because you're blocking.
He's decided to stick with Kano though, which is really good to see. He does manage to bag himself first hit.
I was about to say,
to work with.
The all-important first hit, which does give you a bar of meter for the first hit bonus. That's huge for Cutthroat Kano because he just gets that extended combo damage and corner carry. But he's getting scouted by a lot of low hats right now. Gets me a full combo punish on that dive kick.
See a beautiful punish. Does break, but he decides to break after seeing him use the meter. Perhaps that was on reaction. That would have been a very good play if not. Does manage to get the hit himself though, 29%, just like that, and he walks him all the way into the corner.
Tags him by the low. That's going to be a full combo sequence, and that will tighten up that first round.
Master VHD is back.
Why was this so dominant? Because he didn't drop a single combo. If he keeps this up, he should be fine.
He had to use a lot of meter in that round, but Kung Lao was only sitting there by himself. Wonderful uppercut to really challenge the follow-up from that.
That overhead strike is unsafe on block. He probably could have got a bigger combo, but sometimes you just go for consistency.
Well,
and uppercut is
14%,
consistent.
14% isn't bad, considering it's going to then stop him from doing it in the future, hopefully, if conditioned correctly. Fasol does go with a spin finish. Normally you see Kung Lao's go into a hard knockdown from there to really, know what time they're standing up. But, Fasol has his own way of playing, which is working out really well for him right now. Goes for the overhead this time.
He cornered himself with the teleport, though. I mean, it depends on how he's going to fight here, but another meter bend spin, not scouted, unfortunately. I mean, like I said, the mind game, that's going to be a lovely wake-up attack, but it doesn't quite get the convert. I mean, 8% is better than dropping it entirely, but that's going to be a good throw, keeping him in the corner. But he has got a bar, he's got to be careful for those spins.
I'm seeing one bar from Fasol, which I immediately think meter burn. Oh, uses the frame advantage, matches in pressing buttons.
Certain is he going to spin? He has no chance to. A really smart back away. Don't even give him the chance to spin, just back away and leave yourself safe. That was a really good call from Master.
This is what you want to see. You want to see players immediately adjusting. He said to himself, okay, right, I am losing these matches, but I'm getting the plays, I'm making the reads. What is letting me down? My execution. What am I going to do? Tighten it up, and that's what he did, and he just won game 3.
But I think that smart stuff at the end there, when he had Kung Lao in the corner, and he could have gone in. He could have gone for those 50-50 strings.
But he saw the bar.
But he risked eating another meter burn spin, which he was eating the whole set. He goes, why don't I just separate myself and get a knife to finish it out? Because you're expecting Kano to go in. When you get knocked down by Kano, especially cutthroat Kano in the corner, and it's a hard knockdown, you expect him to go in and go for a string, which will just complete the pressure.
Well, the thing is, what really won him the round was the use of the meter burn knife, because the knife toss in Cutthroat by itself is safe. It's -6, I believe, which all intents and purposes in MKX is a safe move for the most part. However, the meter burn knife is like +10 on block, which means that for 10 frames when you block that move, the opponent's stuck, they can't move. So if they do anything other than block and you then attack while they're stuck in those plus frames, your attack is just going to hit them out, and that's exactly what happened there. He caught Fasol pressing buttons when he was minus on block, and he got completely hit for it, which is what turned the round.
Looks like Fasol is going to be sticking with his guns, going Buzzsaw Kung Lao.
I don't see why he changed.
Exactly.
I really don't see why he changed.
It very much was not a situation where the character let him down. It was just Master making good reads and capitalizing on every touch. So we're going to go into game 4, where we may potentially see Master bring this back. I would love to see him bring it back because I'm always hype watching Kano, but more for the first 3-2 set, which we may have potentially seen.
Well, Fasol's doing well for himself right now. I'm happy he's stuck with Kung Lao. There's no way it was the character's fault that he lost, and he has acknowledged that. But he's got this corner pressure, and he's already sitting on a full bar.
But once again, though, Master scouting that spin, but is unsuccessful in the read, but does get a really nice interruption. And again, here comes a meter burn spin. Something that he's trying to bait, but when he baits it, it doesn't come. And when he goes in, it comes. It's that true, almost 50-50 style of is it going to come or is it not?
He dropped. Fasol did go for a meter burn spin and a breaker, so he went from 3 bars to nothing just as quickly. He's already built 1 bar back. Unfortunately, Master does drop a combo, which again has resulted in all this pressure that he's now having to deal with.
He's getting tagged by basically everything, and it is match point Fasol. Unfortunately, there was a lot of exchanges there that just all went to Kung Lao. They weren't big damage, but it was the fact that he was building meter when he blocked, and it's just constant damage that you take if you guess wrong on these 50-50s. Is a meter burn spin going to come? That's the question. He's baiting it again, it doesn't come.
He knows.
It just seems like every time he's trying to scout the spin doesn't come, and every time he goes in, the spin comes. Like, I think Fasol's reads on this teleport has just been, the spin has been pretty immaculate. And again,
no, the one time,
right as I say it,
one time he doesn't block, he gets tagged by a meter burn spin. He's got a bit of a mountain to climb here, but he does get the hit. Will he be able to confirm?
Fasol's reads on that spin has just been so good from start to finish.
Goes to the overhead, does
nice
eat
jump
a dive kick for
makes
it,
the overhead whiff. This is a tense. One more. Oh, one more hit will take this. He's got 2 bars. Oh, another low.
So risky.
Lovely. He's got to break this. He's got to break.
This is a really good situation for Master to be in. He's now with Kung Lao with no meter, but he does get tagged by the low. He's got to block this. Doesn't block.
Oh,
no,
that's going to take it. Unfortunate, but he had it going. It was just unfortunate that at that point he had taken so much damage. It was difficult for him. I mean, he has the armor on the wake up Kano ball, but even if he armored with the Kano ball, then it wouldn't have really put him in a better situation. Well played from Fasol. Well played.
It was a fantastic set. I was really happy to see both players managing to take rounds off each other, but especially considering it's Kano. It's the first time I've seen Kano in the European side of this. I mean, it's a shame that he effectively did let himself down with those combo drops, but again, that's the sort of thing that you want to see players watching their matches back, analyze and go, okay, what did I do wrong here? They can watch that and go, okay, right, I need to do this better next time, that better next time. And I'm certain we'll be seeing Master VHD back in this top 16 very soon. But the guy's been consistent in these pre-season cups. These pre-seasons, Master's been in pretty much all 4 of them, and he's placed highly in all 4 of them. And he did actually make top 16 for week 1 too. He just didn't make it into top 8. Unfortunately, history will repeat itself for now. But Master he's been consistent this whole time. As we've mentioned, he is one of the guys that's qualified for the Belgian side of the Mortal Kombat Cup qualifier. So this guy's no joke. He's got a really solid Kano. He's stuck with his guns, although we have seen him play Sub-Zero. He's stuck with his Kano, and he made some adjustments. But I just think in the end, the meter burn spin and scouting it, but it never came. And then the second he went in, he got hit by it. Like, that's just what happens when you fight Kung Lao, man. On that spin. So strong. But that's it, Fasol really made the adjustment himself. He did well. And now we're seeing a lot stronger play from him than we saw a few days ago. And even then, he lost to Foxy, who ended up winning the whole thing. So it wasn't like he lost to a bad opponent. But here he is, again progressing on, earning himself more points and one step closer to earning some money as well. We're going to be setting up the next match soon. But I mean, I think that's been a good way of setting up the tone for this, for this coming tournament. I mean, the fact that we saw Fasol, his Kung Lao today compared to his Kung Lao when we last saw him, it was very different. He's been changing his game plan. He's been very effective. I mean, this guy he's obviously learned from those matches that he lost in the Kung Lao mirror, and he's learned from that, and he's doing more stuff here. Learn from this. He's done a lot more today than he was doing last time. Absolutely. Well, I mean, as I said before, like it's only been a couple of days, but in that time, if you really put that time into it, then you'll see the results immediately. Especially if you're getting this regular competitive practice. Because if you decide to enter these every week, even if you lose, you're getting the experience, you're getting the practice, which might be what you need to then move to that next point. Because we see players all the time that they've got the skills, they know what they're doing, but they just don't have that competitive practice. So that's when the nerves kick in. That's when they're just not used to playing on that sort of scale. But then that's where this gives you the opportunity to really get that practice in, I suppose. Well, we don't know how competitive Master VHD has been with previous MK titles. I mean, I've only started seeing Master on MKX. We've both had the pleasure of fighting this guy in rank because we're in European ranked matches. But I don't recall seeing him that much on previous titles. Whereas with Fasol, we've seen him play loads of games. So perhaps, like I've said before, yeah, exactly. Tournament experience. I think that's an important thing. Experience with every new game as it comes, and experience against a new opponent in those games. Just the experience is what counts. Absolutely. Oh, it's a question of what game we're going to see next, because moving on into top 8, I believe, we can see I'm Still the Daddy is already in top 8, so I believe we might even be seeing his game next. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays on this sort of scale, because as I said before, he's entered a bunch of the preseason cups, but this is the first time we've actually seen his gameplay on the stream. And like I said before, I know he plays Takeda in Shirai Ryu, and he plays Bujutsu Kung Jin. I have a feeling he's going to go with Takeda here. I've seen him play him more than any other character right now, and that definitely seems to be his comfort zone, which obviously everyone's going to have. It seems to be his favourite character. I mean, sometimes you've got a character like, you have a favourite character, and if it's just not working out, you've got a very strong character as your pocket to just use if it's not working. And I really feel like Bojutsu Kung Jin is that for I'm Still the Daddy, in that Takeda is his favourite character, but if it's just not working out, he has Bojutsu Kung Jin to go to if he needs that help. But I mean, like, we've only ever seen I'm Still the Daddy play in offline tournaments. Which is obviously, the more sort of like tournament veteran hardened way of playing. But it's how we go with the online tournaments. I mean, it's the first time we're going to see him. We have a new video here, which some of you guys may not have seen as we set up the next match, which is the Jason combat class. So enjoy that.
Peggy 18.
Jason Voorhees, the iconic slasher from the silver screen, makes an appearance in Mortal Kombat X. His 3 variations cater to players who love decimating their opponents with command grabs and terrifying specials. The slasher variation equips Jason with his infamous machete, extending the range of his normal attacks. Machete launch, back XYY, is an advancing normal that launches his victim. Brooding, forward BY, is a low overhead combo starter that can be chained together to take his opponent to the corner. In the unstoppable variation, Jason gains the special move Rise, down down B, granting him temporary healing over time. Another special move, Punishment, down down A, increases his damage for a short duration. Jason will resurrect once every round, consuming his meter to regain health. The Relentless variation gives Jason a set of special moves to trap and stalk his next victim. Pursuit, down down A, temporarily prevents the opponent from dashing, running, and reverses their controls. Lake Mist, down back Y, teleports Jason behind his unsuspecting foe. Because this variation is focused on close-range command grabs, it's best to activate Pursuit and Killing Machine after you've knocked your opponent to the ground. Killing Machine is available in the Slasher and Relentless variations. At the cost of being briefly incapacitated, this special move gives Jason unflinching armor for a short time. The goal of Killing Machine is to end the combo in a hard knockdown. When the buff runs out, Jason will be vulnerable for a couple seconds, but time it right to avoid being punished. Jason imparts the true meaning of horror with his X-ray finisher. And Jason makes his mother proud with a cinematic fatality.
Finish him! Jason wins.
Enjoy the horrifying Killing Machine, Jason Voorhees. And tune in to the ESL Mortal Kombat X Pro League, presented by Xbox.
Hello and welcome back to the ESL Mortal Kombat X Pro League, presented by Xbox. Looks like we're going to have our next match very soon. I'm quite excited for it. We're going to be seeing I'm Still the Daddy versus Mitsu Owens. This is a match that we've seen before in the pre-seasons. I believe last time Mitsu Owens won this set, but I believe it was 2-1. I'm not sure, but I believe it was 2-1, so I predict this could be quite close. I think it's the player's ability to adapt, though. I mean, like, when we last saw Mitsu Owens play, he was playing Scorpion. We don't know if he's going to be using Scorpion again. He might have another character. But if he was dominant in the preseason and managed to make it into one of the grand finals against Nivek with Scorpion, then, you know, it would be surprising for him to change character when he's done so well with that character beforehand. I'm Still the Daddy, as we've mentioned before, for those that may have just joined us, is a world-class Street Fighter player making his way into Mortal Kombat X. Pretty much Europe's best guy, I hear a lot of people say. And this guy is no joke. He's been playing for a long time. He's been playing a lot of fighting games for a long time, and here he is in Mortal Kombat X. Plays Takeda, and he also has a pocket Kung Jin when he seems to need it. But this guy knows how to play, and he knows how to play fighting games in general. I mean, he takes fundamentals from those games he plays in the past and just transfers it into every new game, and, you know, as the evidence shows, he does very well. Well, the thing is, you know, I mean, we see him playing this game literally every day. Every day he's practicing, he's training. He does this a lot, I mean, as you'd expect when you play games at that level, especially fighting games. But it's not only that, he's also got the competitive experience. I mean, he's travelled the world for fighting games at this point. So it's going to take quite a lot to get this guy riled up. It's going to take a lot to get him nervous. So I expect we're going to see some really, really tidy play here. I mean, it looks like Mitsu Owens will be going to Scorpion in the Inferno variation, which, as I said before, we've seen him play before. So I think if we see Takeda versus Scorpion, or even Bujitsu Kung Jin versus Scorpion, it's a question of how will Daddy be able to deal with that vortex that no doubt Mitsu Owens is going to enforce. Inferno Scorpion's dangerous. I mean, we haven't seen it yet in this European side of the tournament. He's a very popular character online. No doubt a lot of you have played Inferno Scorpion once or twice before. I think it's a safe bet to say, you know, once or twice perhaps. But I mean, this character, he transfers the way he wants to play, but at the same time gets a lot more damage for his vortex. He can get more combo damage for no meter. You know, he gets counter zoning. He can zone people somewhat with the minion that he gets access to. It increases combo damage, and it just makes his whole game plan stronger, really. It kind of just makes everything stronger. But I think as long as we see him enforce these things that Inferno Scorpion has, then he's going to stand a really good chance at winning this. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a character that can put the opponent in a vortex and it becomes a guess, anyone can win that match.
A
So if you've got a
50-50 is a
good player,
50-50.
yeah, if you've got a good player behind that 50-50, then it makes it even more difficult to deal with. Looks like we are going to be going straight into this match now. Looks like I'm Still the Daddy's decided to go with Raiden in a very surprise pick from him.
Very surprising.
Thunder God, no doubt, as well. Looks like I'm Still the Daddy has his microphone plugged in also. But I mean, yeah, so this is gonna, as we saw here, this is going to be the combo damage that he gets access to. So from full screen, he gets access to those, the overhead dive kick and the low grab. As we saw there, I'm Still Daddy actually using the Superman dive on reaction to it. This is going to be a full combo in the corner. That's going to be a lovely conversion. Oh, wake up into minion. Very unorthodox, but seemed to work out for him. There we go, Mitsuo's really putting in this token Scorpion pressure, really showing some good execution. Goes in the restand. Ooh, does guess wrong on the 50-50, but has a break to really save himself. Always something you really have to respect. If you've got a Vortex character, if they have a breaker, you will see some real risky play. Oh, wake-ups all over the place, but both players getting hit by them. And that's an interesting read on the Superman, but unfortunately doesn't quite pay out for him. But as we saw there, just a lot of things that Inferno Scorpion has, or Scorpion across all variations, are these 50-50 situations. And contrary to having a lot of characters having it in the corner, he gets it basically everywhere, especially after a teleport lands. Well, Mitsuo's does teleport his way out of the corner. I mean, something you have to do, because if Raiden gets you in the corner and you're blocking, he's got 50-50s, but his do 50% damage and yours don't. That's going to be a nice conversion into that restanding situation where he does get the free mix-up. Gets tagged, again, that's an overhead. It gets a nice read on that wake-up, doesn't, again, pay out for him. This can be a full conversion into a spear, which is no doubt going to restand him once again. And, oh, he does nothing. Delayed grab. Very interesting stuff. Well, it's a very good go-to option, especially when Hellfire Scorpion... Oh, and we have a... Mitsuo's with a disrespect. We have some disrespect here from Scorpion. Oh, blimey. And the fatality, okay. Probably the most disrespect we've seen so far, I imagine. I don't think that's arguable, to be honest. I don't think I'm Still Daddy's going to take it. I think he might... We've not seen him use Raiden before. I don't know whether he was testing the waters with Raiden or whether he's going to go back and change
Problem
characters.
is, right, and this could very well happen. It might not, but it could. I'm Still the Daddy has been playing fighting games for a long time. And if he's trying to rile him up by doing this, by showing that disrespect, it's not going to happen, realistically. So if this then turns around and I'm Still the Daddy wins this, that's just something that you've then got to hold, really. I suppose. Exactly. To the viewers at home. I respect that. I respect the confidence. Hey, man's
hopefully
confident.
it pays off. Man's confident. He's good to go. But we are going to see he's gone back to character select. He's sticking with Raiden again by the looks of things. I mean, as I said, I think it's going to be a matter of if you keep changing character after character after character, it's hard to adapt to a certain character, because if you stick to one fighter and you're struggling with a matchup or whatever, if you stick with a character, it's easier to learn what you can and can't do, rather than if you change character, then that thought process has been completely refreshed from the beginning once again.
Oh, it's like we said last time. I mean, character loyalty shows a lot. I mean, Foxy Grandpa with his Kung Lao Nivek, with his Raiden, we saw a lot of strong play there. And Mitsuo's, I've only ever seen play Scorpion, so he's put a lot of time into this character. But he does lose first hit.
Worth the preserving, actually. Mitsuo's has changed variation. He's no longer in Inferno. I'm not sure if that is allowed to do, but he seems to have changed his variation after winning.
But we'll see. I mean, he now doesn't have the minion zoning. He does have these swords instead. But it's really not working out for him as he quite... Oh, no. Will he get the comeback? Will he get the comeback here?
It's going to be much harder for him to make that comeback, because he's more sort of... I don't want to say honest as such, but he gets less true mix-ups off a lot of his touches. Ninjutsu gives him much better buttons. The forward two and the back two being very notable attacks. Unfortunately, he does quite a drop his combo as well. But we're going to see I'm Still Daddy in the corner and handle this situation right now. That's going to be a full combo. Unfortunately, not hit confirmed. That normally can be hit confirmed into a teleport into a full combo.
Oh, managed to get the jump
lovely
read.
read.
Oh, he drops the follow-up, unfortunately. I mean, something that Ninjutsu doesn't have over Inferno is the combo damage. It will still hurt, just nowhere near as much.
Oh, the whiffed uppercut. That is normally full combo with punishable, but unfortunately, I'm Still Daddy does not catch it.
Interesting break, though. He's now finding himself with no meter, and he's on a massive life deficit that will take round 2. Mitsuo's with a full bar of X-ray to spend on what he wants. I'm Still Daddy's going to really adjust here.
It's going to be quite tricky now. It will be quite tricky. We don't really see I'm Still Daddy going for many of those 50-50s either. He's not doing a lot of the overhead string. He's not really going for the low. He's just kind of, in this neutral state, he seems to just be letting Mitsuo just kind of get away with a lot of stuff, I suppose. There comes that. That's normally, as far as I'm aware, that is also punishable by Superman dive. I think there's a lot of sort of character unfamiliarity here from I'm Still the Daddy right now. Going into the armor, will he be able to convert? He converts into 33% damage, that's not too bad. Does Scout Wake Up Teleport, goes to the environment interaction use, interesting use. I mean, that could have been a full combo punish, I'm not sure if that was an error. That's going to be an unfortunate point blank dive, I'm not sure if that was intentional, but that will be a full combo punish. Will he be able to take enough to win the round though? It looks like he might, and there we go. That's just enough. 2-0 to Mitsuo. I mean, I'm not sure. He has changed variation, which is an interesting decision after winning. Well, it still worked with him. It did work for him. I mean, we saw a lot of damage, I mean, he wasn't really doing any raw minion grabs or dive kicks in the other variation, so he was only really using them to extend his combo damage. So I guess at the neutral, he doesn't really need what he gets in Inferno, and he decided to go with ninjutsu. I think one of the crucial things here is that a lot of stuff that Scorpion does, I mean, apologies if I'm incorrect here, but as far as I am aware, a lot of stuff that Scorpion does on block is punishable by the Superman dive from that mid-screen distance. So if Scorpion does a spear on block from that range, I'm fairly certain Raiden at that jump distance can block it and punish it with a Superman dive. Superman dive has crazy corner carry, and the corner is where Thunder God Raiden wants to be. But Scorpion is hard to pin down, and his Meteor Burn Teleport will get him out of quite a lot of stuff, especially if he has the option to cancel it as well. So Scorpion's really hard to pin in place, but if you do, Raiden's got the damage to really kick that into him to make sure that he doesn't really make the comeback, I suppose. But Mitsuones is now 2-0 up. He's now 2-0 up right now over I'm Still the Daddy, so we'll see if he can make the adjustment. I believe he's gone with Raiden again, so we'll see if this decision will really be able to sort of stick with him. So we're going into the next match right now. He has gone back to Inferno, which is obviously the variation he used in the very first match. He gets tagged by a teleport almost immediately, and as we saw before, this will go straight into Vortex. Unfortunately, blocks low, and that is, as we mentioned here, the Vortex is a situation where you're put into a hit, and you have to guess what comes next. With Scorpion, that's throw high or low. It's very dangerous. Oh wow, hit confirms the environment interaction again. I'm Still the Daddy seems to really like using those environments. Maybe he's just trying to save meter, but you've got to make sure you're getting as much damage as you can with every touch. Again, confirms into the... Yep, the launcher, but does get broken for it after using the meter. Here comes that dive kick. It's very hard to jump. That should be a full combo punish. Unfortunately, he does drop the punish. That is such a costly combo drop from him. Hopefully, he can keep it together, but right now, Mitsuone's just doing extremely well throughout all three of these matches, and that's going to chip him out. Yeah, Match point. He knew the chip was there. Mitsuone's very smart play right now. He knows this character. He's showing a lot of confidence with Scorpion, and it's really paying off for him. Gets the overhead dive. A lot of overheads for Mitsuones right now, but I'm Still the Daddy is blocking them all. But thing is, when you block this much, that really open up the low option for the opponent. Does get the launcher again. How much will he confirm? Another 33%, just like before. It doesn't really wake up teleport. That was an interesting pressure there. Again, much like Meteor Burn spin with Kung Lao, like the Meteor Burn teleport and wake up is something that you might have to respect against Scorpion. But again, here comes that Vortex. Blocks ready. Oh, he blocks correctly, but unfortunately gets tagged by the spear before he has a chance to punish it. Uses the armored Superman to really get out of the situation. Oh wow, the tracking does get him behind him, and he gets hit by the low. Might close this game out if he catches that low minion. Is pretty important because he can stack it with the spear, and that will take it 3-0. Very good stuff from Mitsuones, very good stuff. Again, we know he's been playing a lot of Scorpion. He's been playing a lot of Scorpion, and it shows when you get matches like that. You get sets. I mean, that was 3-0. Well played to I'm Still the Daddy as well. Mitsuones just with that really strong play. Hard to deal with. It was interesting seeing I'm Still the Daddy go with Raiden, because neither of us have really seen him play that character
I've never
before.
seen him play Raiden before. I was very surprised.
We very much knew this guy as a Takeda and Kung Jin player. So I think the fact that he stuck with Raiden through all three of those matches was also very interesting. Well, it's a question of trying to get the experience, I suppose. I mean, perhaps he wants to play more of Raiden in the future, in future tournaments, and he's deciding, well, the experience I'm going to get with this character is the experience that counts. It's the competitive experience. If I can get good with him at tournaments, then that means that I'm then going to have that experience moving forward even more so than just playing online. I suppose, though, I mean, I guess if I were in his situation, and it was 2-0 down, and it just wasn't working out, he had a main that he could have gone to. If not Takeda, because obviously the teleport and the range may have been quite tricky for Takeda, but just the sheer mobility and punishes that Bojutsu Kung Jin has. Because I mean, the thing is, he was blocking a lot of those Meteor Burn teleports, but then was not getting the full punish on them. If you're playing as someone like Bojutsu Kung Jin, you're getting 37% meterless, and then you can save your bars for Breaker if you get tagged by Scorpion, and then you can break the Vortex before he does any damage. But that was just my opinion, obviously.
It's a question of how you play the set. If with the character you're picking, you interrupt a lot with armor, then try and pick a character that will be able to make the most of that armor. Because if armor is what you want to use, pick a character that has really good armor. But that was it. So well played to Mitsuones and I'm Still the Daddy. Looks like moving into game 3 will be Nivek versus our Foxy Grandpa. So the grand final set we saw mere days ago, we'll be seeing played out now earlier on in this tournament. I believe this is just it's top 8 match
before semi-finals.
Top 8 match before semi-finals. So
we're going to see a run back.
Yeah, loser will go home with no money at this point.
I mean, it's interesting because it was a great set last time these guys played. I mean, obviously, Foxy took it 3-1, but by no means was that a dominant 3-1. In all 4 of those games that we saw played, apart from the first one where Foxy did lose, it was anyone's game. It was just the fact that Foxy just pulled it through and won the set.
Well, I don't really know how this one's going to go. I mean, for those of you at home predicting, still make sure you're doing that. But for those of you predicting, this might be difficult because either player could win at this point. And those prediction points now could be the difference between a free copy of MKX and not getting one. It's quite tricky though because it's not long since the last top 8 that we saw. It's just been a couple of days. So it's going to take adjustment from both players. I mean, Foxy knows what he needs to do to win, but no doubt Nivek, as a tournament veteran really at this point, and a Raiden veteran too, I would be very surprised if he didn't look back at that set and realise what Foxy did to get the best of him in that set. And I'm certain we're going to see some adaptation here. I mean, I predict we're going to see Thunder God Raiden versus Buzzsaw Lao again. But that's my prediction. But what's your predictions? Now is the time you can predict for this next match. You have 3 minutes from this point to make your predictions. Who do you think will win? If you are successful in your predictions, you will then stand that one step closer to winning a free copy of Mortal Kombat X for Xbox One. We saw some really cool stuff from Nivek the last time we saw him play. I mean, he had some really interesting setups with Meter Burn Lightning. He had some crazy comeback potential. We saw him make some ridiculous, like, almost full health down comebacks against Pulsar. And, you know, he's been pushing his way through this tournament also, so it should be a really good set. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. It's always great to see the sort of the UK and Greek guys collide because you always get good games out of those. But you know, here we have Foxy, who has been the most dominant UK player, versus Nivek, who has been the most dominant Greek player. So you know, it's definitely gonna be a good set on the go. Well, they're both very comfortable playing in these conditions as well. They're both very comfortable online players. The connection seems fantastic between them. I see no problems really, especially yesterday, or 2 days ago when we saw them play. They both pulled off a lot of technical stuff. Yeah, a lot of technical stuff. I mean, Raiden combos are not easy. Kung Lao combos are also not easy. And kind of just the reactions that both these players have, you know, it takes a long time to get them. It takes a long time to get those kind of reactions that both these players have. Well, they're going to be using it against each other. Well, this is just one side of the bracket as well. I mean, they are meeting quite early on in comparison to last time. But at the same time, the other side of the bracket, you know, the people winning there are going to know, well, eventually I'm going to come up against the top 2 from last time. So they have to think about that as they're going along. But at the same time, you know, there's always a chance that someone could knock these guys out. We have these are open to anyone. Anyone at home could enter these tournaments. They're free to enter and they are weekly. So we want to see someone that we haven't seen before register, take part, and be the one to take these guys down. So you can then become one of those 5 players that will be going to Burbank on July 11th for those finals. That's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what Ketchup wants to see, and that'll be exciting. I'll be really hyped. We'll be setting up this next match right now, though. Looks like both players are almost ready to go. But I mean, it's quite funny, really, because we see players all the time pick characters. We see all the time that we're going to see players pick characters, you know, multiple characters to try and get that matchup knowledge. But as we said before, you know, Foxy and Nivek were both players that have stuck with one character. I mean, I've not seen Nivek pick any other characters before, and I certainly haven't seen Foxy pick anyone other than Kung Lao. I mean, he started with Tempest, and then very quickly made the transition into Buzzsaw. Well, so we saw, not even just those two, we saw Mitsuones just now with a very good set, but he plays a lot of Scorpion. I've only really ever seen him play this character. So right now, character loyalty is showing more over counterpicking, because we've seen it. I agree. We've seen it attempted, but it's not really worked. So character loyalty is proving king right now. I mean, even in a lot of tournaments that we're seeing, a lot of grassroots, a lot of majors, a lot of characters, players that stick with one character are having the most success right now. I mean, just like, you know, Sonic Fox, Aaron Black, since day one, he won Fatal 8, he won 3 preseasons, he won Week 1, and it's all with that one character. We have players as well, like, you know, I think that is being proven right now, and that character loyalty seems to be stronger than messing around with loads of characters. Because I think the risk you run with playing other characters is that you get put in a situation where a lot of people know what character they're going to play, and they refine their game plan from day one onwards. If you kind of find yourself in a character crisis, or you're trying to cover more grounds with loads of characters, you kind of run the risk of being behind. So by the time you've actually figured out what characters you want to play, or what character you'd like to play, by the time you figured that out, everyone else will already potentially be slightly ahead of you because they made that decision on launch day. So what we're seeing, at least in these European Cups, is that people that have stuck with one character and have progressed through there are getting much more success than those that have played multiple characters at the same time. So looking at the bracket at this point, we could see that Pulsar again has managed to qualify for top 8, just like we saw before, but again, he is on the opposite bracket to the guy that beat him last time. So if he does manage to get his rematch with Nivek, it won't be until grand finals if he keeps winning, but we will see him potentially come up against Mitsuones if he wins his top 8 match. But again, we have Kane and Mr. Aquari, who Mr. Aquari is someone we've seen consistently take part and place well in these European leagues, so it very much could go anywhere at this point. But the match that we want to see right now is Nivek versus Foxy Grandpa, because we don't know who's going to win this, but whoever wins is a strong contender for taking Week 2. I would
I would hope that, you know, someone can really bring it to one of these guys this week. I mean, it would be a shame for this to be like, you know, one of the closest games in terms of like, you know, having a chance of beating one of the two. You know, I feel like if they have to fight each other this early on, they were so dominant last time. They were so dominant last time that, you know, you would hope that this isn't the set that kind of just defines this week. I really hope that someone on the opposite, seeing as they are on the opposite end of the bracket, that someone has a chance to, you know, avoid them until grand finals and then really hammer it in and then give us a really good set. Well, that'd be crazy, because right at this point, they both earned themselves a lot of placement points. Foxy Grandpa has won 100 league points right now for his first place, and Nivek has got himself, I believe, 75? I believe that's what it is, but you know, it's for second place. Yeah, absolutely. So second place, that's what Nivek's managed to bag right now. Either player that loses at this point is losing in top 8, where you get significantly less than that. So whoever wins this is then getting that one step closer to being one of those 5 places in LA. It's definitely one of those important matches. I mean, you know, as we get later on in the tournament, I mean, the differences are significant, but getting into top 8, these differences are also very significant. So I don't think either player wants to go out now, and we are going to see a good set. I think we have seen Thunder God versus Buzzsaw once again, and this should be a fantastic set. Right, let's go. So last time these guys played, it was 3-1, and the one game that Nivek won was absolutely dominant. So will we see a repeat of last time? He has managed to bag himself first hit, which is always very important. Against a carrot like this, drops his first combo, very uncharacteristic of Nivek right here. But that was a very nice punish on the Kung Lao teleport. You kind of jump on reaction to the animation, and then as he reforms the other side, that's when you do your neutral jump punch, and that's exactly what Nivek did there. Very smart stuff. You don't see a lot of people do that at the moment. But both players kind of feeding each other out in this kind of neutral game where they're trying to stay out of range of each other's attacks, but in range of their own. That's the term footsies that we all like to use, where they're kind of, you know, bobbing back and forth, trying to get that magic string or that magic button on the go. But Nivek is very dominant.
Chipped down at this point non-stop. Nivek looks like he's going to be taking this round. We're not going to see a comeback if that's the sort of thing that's going to stop him from getting out of the corner. Manages to use the massive hitbox in that string to just stop him from using the interaction. Okay, so we have Thunder God in the corner. This, as you guys have seen before, this is where Thunder God wants to be, but Foxy has fought his way out. Lovely anti-cross-up uppercut though, really good stuff there. And that's going to be a hit confirm into low hat. The jailing, as I've seen before, where you jail him with the jumping normal and then the teleport mix-up applies afterwards. Foxy Grandpa forced to break, manages to bag himself away from damage, does drop his follow-up, which is unfortunate.
I imagine he tried to dive kick there. But unfortunately drops it. Looks like there's a bit of nerves here playing for both players. An interesting break. I mean, he's still in it by all means. Raiden does a lot of damage, but he's going to get tagged by that jump in. That will be a full jump in and into corner pressure, which we've seen Foxy do a million times before. So much damage for one bar. That's going to be a 39%. He's cornered himself though. And as we say that, he throws him into the corner because he knows that's not where he wants to be.
The thing is, right, the 2-1 finish, which is what we see Kung Lao players do, which ends in that hard knockdown, we see it because you can set up a low hat really well. But Nivek delayed his wake up, which forced the buzzsaw away from him, which meant that he didn't have the hat when he had to wake up. But he has managed to, just with 2 Superman dives, completely turn it and corner Foxy instead.
These are some very uncharacteristic combo drops that we're seeing from Nivek though. We saw last time his execution was immaculate. He's dropping a few combos here that would have potentially helped him, but this is going to be a hard knockdown if he doesn't drop this. Here we go, hard knockdown into Kung Lao corner pressure. Oh, the down one making the jump in whiff. We don't see that very often. That's going to be a full corner combo.
Again, the same combo now, slightly less damage. Oh, does intercept with the spin. Wonderful use from Foxy. Will he use the... Not quite the conversion.
Oh, here we go. What was that?
Okay, so... That's one of the things that Kung Lao can do, when he throws the hat,
the problem
and he can
was,
leave it stuck. It may not have seemed like such a mistake at first when the environment interaction was intercepted, but the problem was, it wasn't that he got punished for that, it's that it got rid of his stamina meter.
That's the important thing. You can't break.
When he immediately got touched after that, he couldn't break. He couldn't get out of that combo. So that one play basically cost him the entire match.
But it was a lovely read from Foxy. One thing we'll see him do quite often is he'll throw a low hat in the corner or something along those lines, and he'll just walk back. He'll throw a low hat because he expects you to do something. No one wants to just sit there and take block pressure in the corner all day, especially against Kung Lao. So one thing we see very frequently is that Foxy will throw a low hat and then just walk back. If you jump, he'll anti-air. If you press a button, he'll whiff punish you. If you do something like that, like environment interaction, he was ready for anything that Nivek would have done in that situation. I mean, by no means was that an extremely dominant game. I mean, Nivek is definitely in this, but, you know, will he pull it through? Will he finally be able to conquer him this time? Let's find out.
Players are going straight back into it. As predicted, we have a rematch of Buzzsaw versus Thunder God.
I doubt they'll
change.
I doubt they'll change characters. Here we go, here comes low hat. That low hat just doing such a good job of just checking the opponent. An interesting run in there, but unfortunately didn't quite pay out. But he hasn't lost much damage, so it's not too bad. Full combo punish though, not quite executed, unfortunately.
You got to make sure you're punishing moves at this point in the tournament. If you're going to win, you have to make sure those punishes are on point. Uses 2 bars, quite an expensive combo here. How much will he get?
41% into hard knockdown. Wake up jump! Oh my days. I don't think he was expecting that to happen. Nivek building that meter. He is significantly down on life, but we saw him make comebacks just like this yesterday, and he has got the meter to work with. Wonderful use of the environment interaction to really avoid that. Does get it. Oh, not quite.
I don't think he was ready for it to connect from that far away, unfortunately. I think he tried to run in for a string, but that wouldn't have connected. Lovely anti-air spin. An interesting break. I think he just wants this round. He's confident. That's going to be it, unfortunately. Sometimes at the end of a round, it is just better to take the round and go into the match with full meter. Unfortunately, because Nivek broke there, a comeback was unlikely anyway, and now he has less meter.
Wonderful commit by Nivek. Really good read on whether Foxy was going to try and punish that string. But the thing is, you can waste meter all you want with Thunder God, but you're going to get it back. You're going to build meter faster than most characters. Oh no, does manage to convert. Yes, full conversion from the overhead.
And that's going to be a restand. Unfortunately, just does the lightning bolt slightly too late. And unfortunately, Foxy was able to block that. Normally, that's a restand situation. Lovely meter burn lightning. And that is going to be corner pressure into death into the next round.
Beautiful round from Nivek there. Absolutely beautiful. Managed just to use perfect use of that meter burn lightning to really keep him in place.
Interesting teleport, unpunished, but they're both in a good situation. Nivek almost in the corner once again, but he has got some meter to play with if he's going to armor. Speaking of armor, here comes a meter burn teleport from Lau, and he's in the corner.
Oh, unfortunate whiff on the environment interaction. Costs the bar as well, and he gets thrown straight back into the corner. Foxy is not letting him out. This is where he wants to win this match.
Oh, and that overhead does such an amazing job of catching a jump if Foxy predicts that you're going to try and jump out of that corner. Oh, a lovely, even better throw tech. I think he was ready for it. Here we go. Nivek has Foxy in the corner. And here comes the spin. He scouts the spin, but gets hit by the rest of it, unfortunately. That is a very costly round. I mean, in situations like that where you make the read, but you let go of block too early, I mean, it can get to you quite a lot. Hopefully you can shake that one off. I mean, we've all seen it happen where you scout an attack, the attack comes, you block it, but then you get hit by the follow-up. We see it with Raiden's double overhead. We see it with Kung Lao's like string into low where you block correctly, but unfortunately you just let go of block slightly too early, and that's what we saw there.
But all it takes is that one split second of second guessing to result in that sort of thing happening. Foxy is now 2-0 up in this set, so will we see an adaptation from Nivek? I'm sure we will. He's very capable of doing it. We are now back into character select. As predicted, looks like we are going to see a straight up rematch. But thing is, Nivek came back from a lot of health deficits.
We've seen it before. We've seen it before.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but he made those comebacks. Like, this guy can do it.
He's got it in him. He's got it in him.
We just have to see him sort of bring that really to these matches, because at this point, when you're at this point in a set and you're 2 matches down and all it takes is one more, you have to think to yourself, the other guy's got matches to go with, so he might not play as conservative, he might not play so calm and collectively because he knows he has those matches to spare.
You've got some games to go. I mean,
yeah.
You can afford to be pretty risky, especially as Kung Lao. I mean, if you've got this many games to go, you can potentially go quite ham here. I don't think Nivek's going to let it go without a fight. I mean, this should be a really good match, hopefully.
Doesn't confirm from that hit, but he does manage to, again, bag himself first hit. Very important, because it's not a question of, you gain meter because you're Thunder God, you'll build it. It's that you deny it from Kung Lao, and now he knows that he has 1 meter to work with. Really brave
stuff, but it was very successful. And here comes the Superman. Interesting teleport. We only saw this teleport get punished right at the start of the first game, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, Foxy's getting away with a lot of these teleports right now.
Oh, down one into Shocker. That doesn't combo normally. Foxy caught pressing buttons. Good confirm from Nivek though on the jump kick.
That's one thing Nivek can do really strongly, is the ability to do a jump kick into a Superman dive on reaction to the jump kick hitting. It's very clutch. I mean, it does give him a lot of damage. But as we've said before, the corner carry is where it's at. That's really important thing. Here comes these low hats. Interesting environment interaction just to eliminate it from play.
The range of that neutral jump just completely tags Foxy Grandpa. Whiffs the EX spin. Goes for a throw. Really good play there.
And again, tags in with that meter burn lightning. Such great stuff.
Masterful use of the meter burn lightning to just make sure that he gets this round, because he's got 2 left. He has the meter to work with.
Oh, not quite a whiff punish. I mean, that probably was possible, but Raiden's a good character for that.
He's looking at 1 round, making the set 2-1. Will he be able to make this? Oh, the good whiff punish from Foxy. Uses the break, a really good idea. Saves himself from a lot of damage, and he's still all in it. No quite conversion. I don't think he quite expected that to hit from that range.
But as we saw there, like, he's waiting for that meter burn spin. So when you see, right there, like when you see people try and block a wake up, they're waiting for a wake up. Unfortunately, Nivek did not have the damage to really capitalize on that, but any damage is good damage in this situation.
Tagged by another throw. Nivek getting really good mileage out of those throws when he sees that he hasn't got a lot of meters meter burn spin. Does use the bar on the combo, so now he hasn't got to worry about that for a little while, but he is cornered and the hard knockdown.
That's going to be a full jump in convert. He's not going to quite die here, but the next setup will decide whether this round is his or not.
Oh, uppercut. The crazy uppercut was absolutely on point.
Oh, my days. Okay, so this is actually match point for Foxy. A great read on the uppercut, but unfortunately just was not able to close it out. This does seem like a slightly different Nivek, and that should be a conversion. Again, it's mainly execution. It seems to lie in combo execution here.
Doesn't quite get punished for the shocker, but he gets tagged. But he does get a throw on the table again. He's getting good use. Oh, good read on the meter burn by an even greater meter burn interruption. I had no idea you could even interrupt that string. We're commenting on reads as more reads are happening. It's really difficult to keep up to date on what's going on. Is he going to armor? No, he just has a good read though on the string. That string with Raiden is incredibly fast. Kung Lao has to respect it. Oh my days, he misses the meter burn spin, and now he's in the corner. God, the amount of throws that Fox is getting hit by Nivek is really on point with these, and another down two. This is incredible. It's like we're playing old school Mortal Kombat right now. We're seeing Mortal Kombat 1. That's how you beat computer, he just throws an uppercut. Here comes Foxy though. Oh, and he is tagged! And that's going to be a full convert. That's going to be an uppercut. That's all he needs to close it. I believe he went for the uppercut because Foxy didn't... His stamina was regenning at that time. He didn't quite have enough to break, but if he did a full combo, that the extra 1 or 2 hits would have been enough to break. So with the uppercuts, he knew it would work, and he didn't have the stamina at the time. Really, really good paying attention of the opponent's stamina meter. That's something that's taken people a long time to get used to, is paying attention to not only the opponent's super meter and health bar, now you've got a stamina meter to look at as well. So it's good to make sure you're looking at that so that you can say, okay, no stamina, he can't break, just do this one move and that'll be able to win the match. I think that was quite a scramble match, really. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, they were both scouting. That was a slobber knocker. That was both players going nuts with their meter. But I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't know, it's kind of crazy to call. I mean, I think Nivek, the main adjustment we saw was him throwing him a lot. On those minus frames where Kung Lao was minus after a low hat, he wasn't going for many counter-poking spins. And if he's going to wait for a string or wait for a poke, a grab is a good option because if he's expecting a string, he's blocking. And if he's blocking, your throw will work. We're going to go straight into this next match right now where both players are ready to go. Another straight rematch. Here we go. Nivek getting that all-important first hit bonus, with Raiden even more important because of the combo damage he gets. Lovely by a meter burn spin, does break right at the end of the combo. I'm not sure if I quite agree with that, but again, you know, both players down on meter now, but Thunder God just has the meter build that Kung Lao can't compete with. Ends early to make sure that he can't interrupt too good. That's going to be a full jump in though. Kung Lao, again, without meter, it's quite hard for him to get mid-screen conversions. He really needs meter to get damage, but that was a really interesting interruption actually. I think that was supposed to be a meter burn spin, which was just, unfortunately, probably a regular spin. Lovely throw tech though. That's going to be a full jump in. Again, an interesting break. I mean, it's the end of the round. I mean, Nivek has it in him to make these crazy comebacks, so we may see one right now. And it looks like this might be the start of one. And he gets tagged. That's going to be a restand into a meter burn spin. As always, this is Foxy we're talking about, and he is match point right now. That was such a gamble. I mean, you were cornered against Raiden. He had the bar. All it would have taken was that one block, and he would have lost it. But he decides to challenge, get the meter burn spin, got the read, and here we go. He's looking to match point. Really taking it to Nivek right now. Unfortunately, he does drop the hard knockdown, but he's still in the corner, which is the important thing. And that's a committed overhead. Interesting. That's a good break there. He had to break in that situation. But he's getting tagged by another jump in. It's looking pretty bleak for Nivek right now. Can he pull it back? He tries to punish the teleport, but doesn't quite get it. Gets the jump kick, you know. Foxy was looking for that again with the grab. Nivek is bringing shades back from the match. He just won now. He's trying to bring it back in a similar way. One more combo will take this though from Foxy, and that's to be corner pressure. He's sitting on the bar, so he's got to be so careful. And he wakes up with the teleport. That will not kill him, but the chip on anything will at this point. Oh, what a dive! Come on, Nivek can really make this comeback. Gets the hit, but doesn't quite confirm. Goes the low, does get blocked. Oh, and he runs straight into the buzzsaw hat. That was so unfortunate. But Foxy will move forward. He ran right into it. You can tell that was the last thing he expected from that situation. Unfortunate situation, but Foxy will take that 3-1. History has repeated itself, and he's moving on 3-1 in the bracket. But what did we see? Like, right at the end of that match, like, one play that I want to point out in this moment, like, what I want to point out is Nivek, in round 1, got the 50-50, but he lost it because Foxy meter burn span to get out of it. The last round, Nivek got the 50-50, same situation, expects the spin, so he stand blocks. So Foxy wakes up with a meter burn teleport into throw instead. He knew that's what he was looking for, and that's exactly why he got that hit, which then cornered Nivek, which just started the rest of the round, and now he's looking at a semi-finalist once again. It's like we've mentioned before, in that quite often, the threat of the meter burn spin is the fact that you're going to sit there because if you knock Kung Lao on the floor, or if he throws a low hat or something that puts him at a negative situation, you're expecting a meter burn spin. If you're expecting a meter burn spin, you can't lock this character down, really. I mean, like, if the threat of it is always there, then he can just go for back-to-back strings, he can go to back-to-back attacks, or he can do anything else. If he knows that you're waiting for the spin, You know, that's the last thing he's going to do, and he can get away with a lot more just because it's there.
I get the feeling that as this league goes on, the more and more that we're no doubt going to see Foxy, that we're going to see these Kung Lao players, that we're going to see Fasol. If he decides to play Kung Lao, you know, as he keeps, because I'm sure both players are going to be able to keep qualifying. As we see Kung Lao, you're going to be hearing us say this a lot. You're going to be hearing us talk about the meaty bone spin, the threat of it, the options.
It's very
it gives
dangerous.
him.
Very
because
dangerous.
At no point is the meaty bone spin not a threat if he's got bar, and that's just, it's something that you have to accept and you have to take on board whenever you fight this character. If he's got meter, it's an option to respect because it is so good. The meaty bone spin is so good.
It's very risky though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, something that I hear from some players is that how can something that is so unsafe be called so strong? You know, they say the move is unsafe on block. As you can see, if you block the meaty bone spin, it's a full combo punish, and with Raiden, that's like 50% damage. But it's always there. I mean, in that one situation we saw where Nivek had the corner sequence, and that next touch would have killed Foxy. If he blocked the meaty bone spin, he would have won that game. But Foxy made the read, you know? And when you have him in the corner, and it's going against most characters where normally my 50-50 here is true. It's something they have to hold. And if they've got armor, sometimes I may even just chew through it, as Thunder God Raiden can chew through armor very quickly. But it's something that you can't just dedicate. Because as we saw there, Nivek went, okay, if I get this overhead, I win the game. And if he spins, I lose the game. He made the gamble, and unfortunately just wasn't successful. And the spin came and he lost.
Well, as I said before, Foxy Grandpa is another semi-finalist. We'll be joining Mitsu Owens in that side of the bracket. But moving into the next match, we'll be seeing Pulsar, who you may recognize from the top 8 a few days ago, against Mr. Aquari, a player that we frequently do comment on his consistent performance in his top 16, how he keeps making it here. His performance in the pre-seasons is now coming up against Pulsar, who was a very strong Ermac that we saw a couple of days ago, really showing the strengths of Master of Souls as the variation he was using, making the most of that vortex, that damage. And Mr. Aquari himself plays Outlaw Aaron Black. He also plays Sonya in multiple variations, but it's all based around 50-50s. So this is going to be a very aggressive, very fast-paced match, I have no doubt. But it'll be a question of consistency from Mr. Aquari versus Pulsar's just solid gameplay. I mean, as we saw yesterday, to keep talking about it, I suppose, Nivek did manage to make the comeback against Pulsar in a couple of rounds, but Pulsar then won that match. He composed himself, and that's the sort of play that we want to see at this level. And I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing at some point as this week goes on. I think with a character like Ermac, though, you need to compose yourself, because I mean, this is a character that has unsafe 50-50s, but when he gets right, he's in a good situation. You know, he can take those 35% or those 30% combos and then just loop them. And if you're losing your composure, you're not going to be confident in those, and you're not going to be confident in those mix-ups that you're going to go for. But speaking of confidence, if you guys at home are confident that you're going to predict correctly in this set, you have 3 minutes starting from now to make your predictions. If you think Mr. Aquari is going to win, it's exclamation mark prediction followed by the points followed by their name, and the same for Pulsar and Mr. Aquari, obviously, together. If you at home have any questions on how the prediction system works, do visit mkxconnect.com to get more detailed descriptions of how that works. Remember, if you are successful in your predictions, you stand a chance to win a copy of Mortal Kombat X for Xbox One, so you too can also take part in these fantastic weekly online tournaments. Let's talk about Mr. Aquari for a second. I mean, we haven't seen him in action on stream yet, but he has been in every single ESL preseason, and he's been very successful in those. I mean, he's consistently been in the top 16 or the top 8, which means that you're constantly earning league points. Even if you're not placing high on these tournaments, you're getting the league points, and that's what matters. But this is his first top 8, his first stream top 8, so hopefully we can really see what he does. I mean, we know he plays Aaron Black and Sonya. I think Sonya is his preferred character, and Sonya is a very dangerous character in this game, especially the variation that he plays. Especially the way he plays her as well. I mean, we've seen him play multiple times at this point in different ways, be it online, be it in these leagues, but it's a very risky way of playing, but it's high reward. High risk, high reward is absolutely how I'd explain his play. I mean, he commits to a lot of things. We talk about hit confirming, which is something where you can look out for a combo string, and if you see the string connect, you then commit into the next part, which is normally unsafe on block. If you simply do a string into a special, you get the combo on hit, but on block, you're unsafe. Mr. Aquari really dedicates to a lot of stuff. You know, if he's confident that you're going to block low, or if he's confident you're going to block high, he will just go for it. And it's a dangerous thing, because you never know what to expect against a player like that. That's what I mean. Like, normally that sort of play you would consider, well, if you're not hit confirming, then you're being really unsafe. You would assume it'll make it easier for you. But if you know that's how they play, then you don't have to think, okay, well, he's not going to hit confirm. You think, right, he's going to commit. So if I get tagged by anything, I'm eating a lot of damage for it. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing him do that here at some point against Pulsar. But again, Pulsar, I'm assuming we'll be seeing play Ermac. I know he plays Shinnok as well, but Ermac seems to be his go-to character for this sort of situation. Where, again, Ermac has high damage, he's got good mix-ups, good Vortex, and he knows how to use it. I mean, I like Ermac in this game. I feel like he is much stronger. Like many characters in this game, which is something that I really like, is that I feel like Ermac is stronger in X than he was in 9. And it's like that for so many characters. It's like that for people like Quan Chi, you know, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. These characters that were all in the previous Mortal Kombat game, and in X, because of the variation system, and because of just how diverse these characters can be, they are more viable now than they've ever been. Well, the thing is, the variation adds to that, because something characters might have suffered with in the past, they now don't, because of certain things variations give them. I mean, take Quan Chi, for example. In this game, people consider that he has quite a weak wake-up game. It's hard to, for him to get off the ground because he doesn't really have any reliable options to get off the ground outside of universal stuff like delayed wake up. However, if you pick Warlock, you then get access to that sword stab, which again isn't as great as some wake up attacks, but it's something that he doesn't have in the other variations. It's an armored reversal, and it's faster than his Sky Drop, which gives him more options. Then you get characters like Sub-Zero, where you know you just take Unbreakable and then take Cryomancer. It's the same character. But very different. Very different. But I like, that's what we said earlier about being a character specialist, like a lot of these players have been, in that like, if you're struggling with a certain situation or a certain character is giving you trouble, now because the variation system is in the game, you don't have to go to a different character to pretty much try and sort of tip that in your favor. You can simply change variation, and we see that a lot in these kind of tournaments. Scorpion's a very sort of prominent character for that, I feel, where his variations do let him do roughly the same job, but they let him do that job differently against certain matchups, which is ultimately the most important thing as a competitive player, is learning those matchups. Well, in terms of something I want to talk about before we go into this next match as we get it set up is what characters are we seeing represented today? We're seeing a lot of diversity. We're seeing Kung Lao, Raiden, we saw Scorpion, Ermac, no doubt Sonya Blade, Aaron Black. These people aren't sticking. They're not sticking to the same group of characters. I mean, obviously, when a game comes out and it's new, there is obviously, you know, day one tier lists. People that think, you know, X character is too good, X character is this good, you know, and these characters are garbage. There's obviously going to be a selection of characters that are undeniably the most popular among players. You know, going by sort of maybe popular opinion or, you know, things like that. But I like how in these tournaments that we're seeing, even in the North American ones and the CIS, we see a great range of characters being picked. And I think we just saw Kotal Khan win CIS Week 2. Very powerful Kotal Khan, but I've not seen him in Europe yet. Exactly. I mean, as far as I'm aware, actually, I think Shuffles, who has made it through into his next match, actually does play Kotal Khan himself. So fingers crossed we can see some Kotal in the action. But it looks like we're setting up this next match right now. I believe Mr. Aquari has gone with Sonya Blade. Interesting. I mean, Sonya Blade is a very powerful character. She pretty much always has been. In 9, she was very dangerous too. But it's going to be a match of do not let this character get started.
What you did to Jax.
Die avenging him.
I love these intro dialogues. It's like trash talk, even if the players won't do it, the characters will. Well, as we said though, straight into the unsafe cartwheel, but his read was successful. This guy will go nuts. Just like that. It was blocked, but he's still committed to the cartwheel, which gave him this entire damage, this entire sequence.
There's an overhead again! I mean, he's going nuts!
And it's paying off. Unfortunately, does drop the combo. He spent the bar to get off, but it doesn't really hurt much, and he's still in the corner. And he's just committed to the low. There was no way he had time to confirm that, but he got the read. He is reading time after time after time after time, and he has taken round 1 very quickly. Pulsar, I mean, we've said before, this guy can keep it composed, so hopefully he can keep his stuff together. That's me a meter burn. He blocks successfully, but forgets about the follow-up on the string. That string is overhead low, so you must block high and then low instantly. We're looking at some potential unfamiliarity here. I don't think he's familiar with some of these strings. Well, even if you know how to block Sonya, at the end of the day, 50-50 is a 50-50, of course, and that's going to be a very, you know, he must break in that situation. Unfortunately, he has no stamina now, so it's going to be hard for him to be agile, but he does get the 50-50 of his own. This character does have an overhead and a low, both of which will go into the soul ball, but that was a very costly combo drop. He drops and then whiffs a normal, which just gives Mr. Aquari a free punish as he stands up. You just know that that string was going to go into soul ball, and the soul ball stuns for another 50-50. Doesn't quite get the combo. He goes for the overhead, but is unsuccessful. Gets punished for it as well. One of the things about Ermac in this game is that he has got 50-50s, but they are, when committed to their max damage, they are both unsafe. And as we just saw there, Mr. Aquari blocks correctly on the overhead and does punish accordingly, and it costs him the game. When you play a character like that, it's a question of, yes, you can win in one touch, or you could lose by guessing wrong that one time. And that's what we saw. He had his 50-50s blocked consistently, and that cost him a lot of health. But at the same time, he was getting hit by all of Mr. Aquari's. So It's a hard match. It's a hard match to come back from. They are both momentum characters. That's the reality. I mean, both characters want to get their game going. I mean, Master of Souls Ermac, he has this vortex, he has this mix-up game that Sonya also has. Both characters will do a similar job, slightly differently, but you know the principles are still there. So in these kind of matchups, it's all about just getting your thing going and just trying to keep it going as much as possible, and just don't let them start their own thing. Because a character like Sonya, you know, if she gets going, she's very hard to stop. She has the low, she has the overhead, both will full combo into the same situation once again. And if you let her start that, then it's kind of hard to deal with, especially if you get put in the corner or in a situation like a hard knockdown. So if you've got a character that yourself has good momentum, like Ermac can do, when he gets going, he can shut you down entirely. You just have to start it first, really. That's what it comes down to. First hit is very important in these sets, well, especially the barometer, because it gives you the breaker. Breakers are a really good way to help yourself defend against this sort of play. So not having a breaker and then get hit by a 50-50, which will then loop back into itself, is a nasty place to be. Especially seeing as both characters have these 50-50s.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're different. I mean, a lot of characters in this game have 50-50 strings. By 50-50, we mean overhead or low, you know, where you must block high, you must block low, and if you guess wrong, you'll get punished for your troubles. But I mean, a lot of characters in this game have them, but the characters have different ways of kind of just applying those, really. And obviously, Mr. Aquari is one of those players that plays two characters, you know, Aaron Black and Sonya, that both have those kind of strengths to them. I mean, Pulsar has been sticking with Ermac. He's been doing really well, but it's quite overwhelming. Well, at this point in the tournament, we're looking between a loss now is the difference between $100 and getting nothing. So this is where it counts. Like, obviously, every match counts, but this is where your money is on the line, really. Because if you get past this point, yes, if you lose, it's bad because you don't get as much, but you think, yeah, you know, at least I still made a bit of cash. But it's also the points. It's the points you lose as well.
The all-important placement points.
But it's only been one game. It's only been one game. So Pulsar could make this comeback. We'll have to see. It depends if he can deal with the Sonya pressure, because right now he is just getting opened up by everything that Mr. Aquari is doing.
It's one of the adaptations that he must make, because as I mentioned before, Mr. Aquari is he's fearless. You know, this guy doesn't care if he gets punished, because if he is right, if his read is correct, and he gets that pressure, he'll full combo you into that same situation again. However, he is still going into these. So I think the thing to acknowledge here is that if he's going into a low or an overhead and is committing into these unsafe specials, if you can guess right on the pressure, instead of it being minus and then that's your situation, if you guess right against Sonya Blade, in this situation, she's full combo punishable. And that is the one opening you need as Ermac to get going and to keep him stuck the whole game.
Well, it's a question of he's got the damage. He has the damage himself to make this count.
And a lot of it is meterless because of the Soul Ball.
Yeah, so he's going to have breakers by default, really, if he just conserves his meter. I mean, he's been using a lot of meter to interrupt, using these meter burn, you know, the blasts, the green blasts, whatever they're called. But it is armored, so if he thinks he's going to press a button, he can use that to blow through it and get momentum himself. But doing that means you're one step away from having a breaker yourself to get out of it if you do get attacked. Against these mix-ups characters, you do kind of need to save breaker whenever possible. And if you're a character like Ermac, especially Master of Souls, that doesn't spend a lot of meter to obtain the damage, then you can just keep your meter for breakers. I mean, especially against a character like Sonya, where, you know, if you ever get tagged that one time, you don't want to take those mix-ups and you don't want to take that damage, because a lot of her damage is also meterless. And then she can break the second you tag her. So it's, again, as we said, who touches who first. It's a match of both characters doing the same thing. I mean, we say it before, but a lot of characters have this sort of game plan. They just do it slightly differently. But it looks like they are going to be going with the characters again. We're going to see Ermac versus Sonya Blade. How will this one go? I mean, with the same variations as you'd expect, but does manage to get... He loses the first hit, which, you know, against Sonya, commits into the overhead. Yes, as we mentioned, those unsafe 50-50s where he committed into the overhead and was full combo punished. And here we go again. He does need to break, and that dive kick's going to knock him down. And here comes another combo string. It's all Sonya Blade right now. And that's the unsafe cartwheel! The unsafe cartwheel! This man has no fear. But there's no reason to get hit by that cartwheel. If you know he's doing it, it will come. You block it, it's gonna come. So just block it and then punish. Pulsar needs to really keep himself together and start punishing correctly, because right now he's missing out on a whole round's worth of damage. And then he drops. Oh no, Pulsar is looking really flustered right now. I feel like he's being very overwhelmed. I mean, that's the thing. Characters like this, they can have that effect on you. I mean, if they get going and then you get overwhelmed, that X-ray was very ballsy. He whiff punished it with the down one. Pulsar has really got to start getting more damage on the table. He is missing out on countless opportunities to really win this round. It's not looking good, and that's going to be another full combo. Such a swift game. I mean, if he... and that's going to be game 2.
He's getting overrun here by Sonya. From what I'm seeing, he's getting overrun. I'm assuming that Pulsar has never fought Sonya before. Because if you have never fought this character or you're not aware of what she's got, she'll run over you. She has an overhead, low, overhead. So block high, block low, block high. Her military stance can go into a low, which is when she does that stance. She can then go low from there and then combo from it, or she can go a cartwheel. She's just got a low, high, a low, low. Like, she's hitting you all over the place. And if you don't know where these strings are going to hit, chances are you're just going to get blown up by it. And seeing this sort of play, I just have to assume that Pulsar is not familiar with it. But either way, how do you get around it if you've not seen it before? Is get aggressive, get really aggressive, punish correctly, and get the damage where you can. We're seeing Aquari do a lot of unsafe stuff. I mean, it's successful. It really is successful. But he's doing strings on block. He's doing combo strings on block, and is then committing into overhead regardless of whether it's blocked or not. That overhead, the cartwheel, is so unsafe on block. I mean, if you block it, you get a free combo. Again, if you're Ermac, you get a meterless punish into soul ball reset into potentially more damage. Like, that is the one opportunity you need to get going. And I just don't quite feel like he's really capitalizing on those situations. But it looks like he's changed characters.
As I say, we have seen
Imposter Shinnok.
He's now going to Imposter Shinnok. The move that Imposter takes from Sonya is the leg grab, so not really the most useful attack.
Do not critique, Mustard. Do not critique.
No, of course. I mean, I've seen Pulsar play Shinnok. He knows what he's doing with the character, but he has really got to keep himself together. Like, drops like that, especially like Shinnok does not have the damage that Ermac does. You need to make sure you're composed, especially like that. But that's what you want to see.
Here comes that Mimic mix-up into the grab, and we see a lot of people talk about Shinnok, and they say he's a bad character. The mix-up of the Mimic here is a string or a throw, because he gets a damage buff for 10 seconds after landing the Mimic. When you land the Mimic, you can do a grab, which is 16%, or you can go for a string. If they try and take the grab, they get hit by the string. Hopefully we can see some of that enforced right now.
But both of them are safe. If you do a string, you can hit confirm it. Okay, he's blocking, I'm going to do something else. But his meter burn Amulet strike gives him some crazy block pressure. But, you know, you have to have the meter to do that. And right now, he's only just built a bar. He gets tagged by the string once again. Again, he's getting hit by the overhead into low. Good armor, but unfortunately he actually whiffs. But that is all he needs to take out the first round. Mr. Aquari, though, going into this next round with full bar, and Shinnok has none. So beforehand, Pulsar had access to the Mimic, which gave him that situation to get that throw damage. Right now, he's got her move, but he used it, so he now has access to his Mimic again, but he's getting hit by a full combo, and he is full-on cornered. No meter to get off the ground.
Tagged by the overhead once again. This is all Aquari right now. Does drop the combo, but at this point, it doesn't seem to matter. Blocks correctly, and that's full combo punishable, and he now acknowledges.
There we go. He decided to go into a string. I wasn't sure if he knew it would punish it correctly, but he just went for the full-on string, got some good damage, and he is now out of the corner. This is where he needs to be. Gets the jump-in punch. Will he confirm? Is he going to grab or go for a string? He tries to take the grab, and that is the mix-up. He tries to take the throw, and he needs a full combo because of it. If he mimics him once again, oh, he commits to it. That's unsafe on block, and he's going to get punished for his troubles. I hope he doesn't lose this round.
Oh, no.
No, he lost this round due to a move that wasn't even his.
How about that, Sonya? How about that?
Thing is, right, when you play Shinnok, if you have a move that isn't massively useful to you, you have to get rid of it as soon as you can. And I see him trying to do it, but even in a combo, end the combo in the move, get rid of it, so then you have your restand. These costly drops. I really think Pulsar is just quite flustered right now. In these situations, these aggressive characters, they can overwhelm you. Decides to go low, catches him, not crouch blocking. That's what you want to see. Uses it, it's 35% damage. Good, lovely grab. Pulsar is bringing this one back with this great Shinnok play. Oh, here we go.
Are we going to see a tricky pull? Or is he? There's no reason. Yeah, just zone.
That's chip. That's chip damage.
Chip damage. This character change seemed to be very important.
Oh, it's been good. I mean, what has he been doing here? He's catching the lows, he's catching the throws, he's getting good tricky portals in situations where he's really not expecting it. Because when you just do tricky portals with Shinnok at neutral space, it's very unsafe.
You follow him as he jumps, and as you see the tricky portal, you neutral jump punch to beat it.
But if you do it when he's getting off the ground, if you do it when he's doing an attack, then even if you don't punish it with a tricky portal, they're now having to deal with you being right in their face. This character swap is looking really good right now for Pulsar.
But as we've mentioned, the Mimic mix-up of string or throw. So Shinnok has no true overhead starter. He can only start his combo from a mid or a low. So from the neutral game, there's really no reason to block high against Shinnok.
But that's where the tricky portal comes in to then start enforcing that. Not even the overhead from the jump kick or the punch, but just the fact that he has that really good mobility. Because a thing that people assume is the mix-up from the Mimic is when they're tranced, it's a low or a throw, but realistically there's no reason to do that, because if someone is trying to take a throw when they're hit by a Mimic, they're pressing buttons, which means that they'll get hit by any string, not just the low. So it's a string you can hit confirm to be safe, or a throw.
Mr. Aquari starts off very, very aggressive this time. This cartwheel seems very staple to his play. Again, here we go into cartwheel.
But he's already cornered
kick,
after
sorry.
one attack. One sequence has already got him cornered, and he does guess wrong on the overhead. Breaks out.
Oh, wake up dive kick. Very interesting stuff. That's quite unsafe on block, really. Oh, another wake up arc. He's being quite nuts with his meter. He's being quite crazy. It has to be full combo punishable if he does get it. Doesn't quite get the punish, but he does get checked by the last minute overhead of that string. One of the only overhead he actually has in a combo string, and it's right at the end. So it's not that bad to get tagged by it. Oh, crazy stuff. Aquari just going, and that's another 50-50 into a cartwheel. And this is going to be quite bad. Here we go, commit.
Again, no punish. Just seeing so much unfamiliarity with this character right now.
It does seem like he's just not familiar with Sonya. I mean, he's not punishing a lot of stuff. He's getting checked by a lot of strings. And I don't know, if you're familiar with the matchup, you know what your punishes are. You know what moves you can be. And it just doesn't look like Pulsar has that knowledge. Lovely grab. As we mentioned, when you mimic, you get a damage increase. That's going to be a 16% throw. And here's the thing. You have to start going, is it worth accepting the fact that after every single touch, he's going to get an additional 16% from a guaranteed throw, or do I start taking those throws? If you're safe from the throw, that was a crazy X-ray! A lovely read on the anti-air.
Knowing Aquari, this is going to be converted to a full 50% combo, which will
He's
basically...
in the corner. Can he get even more?
But think about it this way. If you get hit by Sonya's parry... Oh, he drops it. If you get hit by Sonya's parry, that's a 50% parry you're looking at.
Ooh, unsafe arc kick into instant dive kick. That was very unorthodox, but does seem to help him.
Lets him out of the corner. Interesting decision. Oh, gets hit by the armor.
Oh, he drops the combo. That's really bad for him. And this is not a great situation. One more touch will take it, but this could be everything. Has no meter to convert. The tricky pull, the dive kick catches him, and that will close out the game.
Mr. Aquari takes that set 3-1. What a set. I like the character swap from Pulsar, but I guess it just came a little bit too late.
And again, what really seemed to decide it was, I totally respect the character change. He understood it is not working, Mac, and I should change the character, because we know he can play multiple characters. But what really changed that for him was just not punishing. Aquari was doing loads of unsafe stuff, and he was blocking them correctly, but he just wasn't punishing it fully. And if you punish Sonya, I mean, I know Shinnok without meter doesn't have amazing punishes without mimic, depending on the move he has stolen. I mean, we know that the leg flip is really one of the more less useful moves that you can steal. But I mean, if you change to Air on Black, I mean, that air thing that Air on Black has that he steals is even more useless.
Man, when I play Shinnok and I fight Air on Black, as soon as I catch any mimic, I use that stolen move immediately from any touch, because you have time to waste it and then go in for your mix-up, because you just can't do anything with it. But again, Sonya's a character quite like that, in the sense that her leg grab doesn't really give you anything. You can't really anti-air with it. It doesn't really give you any more damage than you normally would have been able to get from the mimic itself. So it's a question of just trying to get rid of it. Get rid of it as fast as you can.
I mean, the only real sort of realistic way to get rid of the leg grab is to well, use it in a combo, really, isn't it? I mean, the issue is you won't get any sort of increased combo damage, because if you're using it that late, then any special...
But the important thing is you lose it, and that's what you want to do.
But as we mentioned there, though, guys, I think it's just... it's the fact that he had the character switch, but it was the combo execution. Not the execution, sorry. It was the punishing that let him down, because he blocked a lot of stuff that he could have punished, but unfortunately, I mean, good stuff, though. I mean, again, making top 8 2 times in a row. And this was the first time we've seen Mr. Aquari. As we've said, he's been quite dominant in the ESL pre-seasons. Here he's in top 8 and he's advancing into the semis.
Well, making top 8 twice in a row is going to give you quite a lot of placement points. Again, like I said before, they are what are important right now, and getting top 8 twice gives that to you. If you at home want to follow any information on the progress of the league itself and any more details on how to get involved, you can follow ESL Mortal Kombat on Twitter and Facebook, and also NetherRealm on Twitter for updates on where the league's going.
Not to mention the ESL website, which is esl.gg/MKX Pro League for all the information you need on this league, this tournament, and the ones that are coming in the upcoming weeks, where we have all kinds of players taking part. We have a lot of players here that are coming out as new players. We have a lot of players that are coming out as new blood, and that's what I really like about these online tournaments, the chance for new players to really make a name for themselves just from the comfort of their own home.
Well, you can enter every week. It plays through from Sunday, where you'll go from however many enter through to top 16, where you then see a broadcast just like we have now. So every Wednesday evening, you will be able to see yourself play on the NetherRealm Twitch, should you be successful and make top 16, where you can get those placement points and stand a chance to win that big cash prize.
I mean, this is a good way to sort of test your might, as it were. I mean, there's a lot of the best players in the world enter these tournaments. You know, and these have been consistent Mortal Kombat players through 9, sometimes going back to like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. We have players like Rio, you know, and you know, these guys that these guys that have been playing for so long, and here they are now being just as dominant. But speaking of being dominant, what kind of prediction do you think you guys are going to make? I mean,
I don't see that remotely links into prediction points.
hey, listen, right?
You tried.
Listen, we have 3 minutes starting from now to make your predictions in the next match. Who do you guys think is going to win? We have Faso versus Shuffles, I do believe.
Oh, so we might actually see some European Kotal Khan play.
It's going to be cool. I mean,
I would like that. I would, especially after seeing CIS won by such a powerful Kotal Khan player. I'd like to see Europe have our own version of that.
I think it's good because, I mean, a lot of Kotal Khan players are using War God as their variation. War God's quite...
I can see why.
Well, the thing
I
is,
can
not only
completely
do you
understand why.
not only do you get the more mix-ups from it, but you get the sort of counter-poking. As we see Kung Lao doing things that make himself minus any meter burn spins. Excuse me, sorry. Kotal Khan can do something very similar. I mean, this guy can put himself in a minus situation and then use his armored overhead sword, which launches the opponent into a full combo, which is about 35% if done for max damage. And that's a lot of damage to take just for trying to press a button when you felt like it was your turn.
Well, I mean, it's not going to do as much as the meter burn spin from Lao because obviously it's not going to hit multiple times, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt you a lot. 35% damage is a lot to take into account. So, again, it's just knowing that's the problem. But the thing is, War God, he gets access to the overhead, the armor, a low as well, but he gets access to the unblockable ground pound, which you can cancel to bait jump out attempts. If you think they're going to try and jump out of the ground pound, you then cancel it and then anti-air if they try and jump in at you. So he's got a lot of versatility. We'll see if Shuffles can put that into practice right now. I don't really know what character we're going to be seeing Fasol playing. We've seen him play Kung Lao today, but we've also seen him play Katana in previous cups, so I think it's all up in the air as to who we're going to see him pick.
I think, in terms of like Kotal Khan though, we hear a lot of speculation about which is his most sort of dominant variation. I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about Blood God, for example, which gives him the damage totems, and if you combine that with Blood Offering, he gets insane damage. However, I think the reason we see so many people go for the War God variation is because he can actually kind of open you up in this variation. He gets a low, he gets an overhead. You know, he doesn't have the grab that Sun God has, and he doesn't have the insane damage that Blood God gives him. But the important thing is that he's going to actually be able to obtain that damage. Because, I mean, as you see people say, you know, when you go into training mode and you practice a combo, it's all well and good, but boards don't hit back. So when you're against a human opponent, you know, it's a matter of obtaining that damage. And if Kotal Khan has no sort of true high-low mix-up game,
and all
in
you
these
have to do is
variations,
block in one direction and then just fuzzy guard and see it on reaction, then
he won't obtain the damage.
He's buffing up a lot of damage that he's not going to hit you with. So War God gives him that option to actually hit the opponent more than what they'd normally expect, especially with the unblockable, especially with the overhead, with the armor, with
and
the
it's
low.
the counterpoke. It's the counterpoke opportunity that the armor brings him. We may see it here from Shuffles.
I have no doubt that we're going to see it a good few times.
I mean, against Kung Lao, it's slightly different because if armor collides with armor, the meter burn spin will win because it hits more times.
But that's the only move that's not going to beat it.
Crazy. I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I mean, I myself play a little bit of Kotal Khan, and I think he's a really fun character to play. For the reason of counterpoking. I just love baiting an opponent into pressing a button and then throwing out the meter burn launcher. I mean, it works on most characters. I mean, there are ways it can be beat. You can jump over it. You can jump.
Well, nothing is guaranteed, but it's all a read. It's all a damage risk reward.
You can make good reads with this character, and that's the important thing. You can make good reads, and he's got a really cool brutality as well. One of my personal favorites.
We haven't seen anywhere near enough brutalities today. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Hopefully, we see if Shuffles wins a game, I would like to see one.
I know Shuffles does that a lot. The disgusting saw you in half one.
It's really easy to do because it's the ending of one of his main combos, which is forward 1, back 2 into overhead sword. That leads into a brutality because you just have to win the round with a 3-hit combo that ends in that.
Yeah,
so hopefully you see it.
Both of them decide to start. Shuffles uses 1 bar of meter on a full screen meter burn projectile. I'm not sure if I quite agree with that.
And here comes Fasol's pressure. Crazy stuff. And again, as we said, the jumping into jailing from the teleport. This should be a full combo, but he's going to break. He doesn't even remotely want to take that damage. Shuffles has 1 bar of meter, and obviously we might see some armor here, but Fasol has no meter. He's jumping back to try and predict the...
He's being patient. Oh, he needs to stop using those meter on the projectile because it's simply not worth it.
But what I think is quite interesting here is that Fasol he's actually playing the space game quite a lot. Kotal Khan, one of his drawbacks is he's one of the easier characters in the game to keep out of, to keep away. He has, no teleport. He's quite mobile, but he's quite big. He's quite easy to keep from far away. Buzzsaw Kung Lao could probably zone him with that hat.
We
but
see
it
a
doesn't
comeback
really
from
matter
Shuffles
at all.
right
Here comes a full combo. Meatbun spin, lovely prediction.
Wow.
A backdash to make it whiff, and then he makes that entire comeback.
Shuffles with the comeback though. That was absolutely amazing. He had less meter, Absolutely no health, but gets the full punish. Only really punishes the sweep, but doesn't need anything more from that.
Oh, he gets hit by the rest of it, and then that's minus, but not really punishable against a lot of characters.
I don't know, if you can win a round like that, you can win any round.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's the wake-up armor, like we said, and that's going to be a full combo into air. A lovely air grab to put him in the corner. And that overhead sword right there that you saw is actually safe on block. That one is not. And again, baiting him into pressing a button and then armoring through. I love that.
Fassol's really trying to use his stamina to get away, but he just doesn't have it because of his break.
And one more combo may take this, but Shuffles is not going out without a fight, and that will actually take the first game into the brutality. That is my favorite brutality in the whole game, and I am so happy. He doesn't even need to win this tournament now. That is my favorite brutality, and he did it. I will love him forever.
Well, you see, he's bathing in the glow right now. That glow is projected by us. Going, yes, thank you.
It was so good. I
much.
love it. I mean, that was great play, though. Not only was it that immaculate comeback in round 1, but scouting the meter burn spin and punishing accordingly.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I already wrote that round off as Fassol's. I very much thought that was it. That was done. But no, just that armor. Again, he only gets that in War God. He only gets that in War God.
And this is why so many people think that this is Kotal Khan's strongest variation. The armor is such a big deal. Not only for defense, but in situations like that where we saw where he baited Fassol into pressing a button, put himself into a minus situation, so Fassol's going to try and press a button, and here comes an armored launcher to chew through whatever button you pressed. It's all good. I mean, that's one of the staple parts of Kotal Khan. You can bait it, it's unsafe on block, but much like Kung Lao, it's
so is the meter burn spin, and that works plenty
exactly.
enough.
It's a read. It's a read that must be taken, and he made some really good reads in that game. And
so as looks like we're going to be seeing a rematch, a full-on rematch of what we saw beforehand.
Right.
So
is Fassol going to bait the sword? That is the question. Oh my days! He goes in again. Doesn't quite scout the meter burn spin this time, but
he got the first hit, so Shuffles is still up on the meter, which again, when you've got the sword, that's what's important.
His down 1 is ridiculously fast, so I don't think there's any real reason that Shuffles wouldn't press a button, apart from if Fassol's going to start trying to counterpoke with meter burn spin.
Oh, that's why he's doing it. He's doing it for the plus frames of block, so he can run in and do something.
I think Kung Lao may need to, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, but I do feel like Kotal Khan's down 1 is 5 frames.
I do not agree with that break at all from Fassol. Well, he had no meter, he had the meter for the break, but if you've not got the health, keep the meter and use it in the next round, especially against a character like Kotal Khan.
Oh, here comes a full combo from Shuffles.
He is relentless, he is going
That's
in right
now. Full
now.
combo, he doesn't quite get it. He goes for the 3 forward 2s. That is a tight link after the 3rd forward 2. He may adjust next time and just go for guaranteed damage. He hasn't got bar for armor. He's going to have to take this mix-up right now. Maybe try and get a good read on his down 1 to save himself, but he's getting low-had all day. Unfortunately, the armor doesn't quite pay out, and that will be a really nice conversion from Fassol.
He's using his down 1 really well. As soon as he sees it hits, he's going in for string, because he knows that's the advantage he's got.
Oh, a tasty neutral jump. Is this going to be a full combo? Yes, it will. Is that going to finish it? Not quite. One more hit will take this. Oh, he hasn't quite got the conversion. He's in the corner. That drop was almost costly. I mean, granted, we said we didn't agree with the break, but the break allowed that round to be won. Crazy stuff.
No, the break was the end of the first round, wasn't it?
I could be wrong. I mean, I could have missed it. Apologies if I'm wrong.
The break did cost him round 1, but round 2 was a lot stronger, and there we go. Look at that.
I really feel like Kung Lao just needs to respect that down 1, because I think Kotal Khan's down 1, I do believe it's 5 frames, and low hat is -5. So
that would make sense.
It'll be very easy for Kotal to get that down 1 after the block low hat. Unfortunately, he's just getting hit by a lot of these low hats. Trying the neutral jump to bait some kind of advancement. Ooh, really risky dive kick. And here comes the armor once again just to blow through it. That's going to be a full combo. Doesn't quite get the air grab because it whiffs.
Challenges with his jump kick. Oh, catches him. No breaker though.
Next hit should take it for Shuffles. I mean, Kotal does good meterless damage. Here comes meter burn spin. He doesn't do meter burn spin. I think he might have tried to. That's why he got tagged. Oh, that's unsafe. The slow start up on the sword. And here comes Kung Lao.
But we see Fassol make this clutch play. He just needs to hit by 1 down 1.
Oh, he does down 1 into the spin. I'm certain that's not what he wanted, but here he comes.
Oh, the comeback,
wow.
though.
Crazy stuff.
All he had to do was look for the space for 1 down 1, but as soon as he got the space, he got hit by meter burn spin.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, especially seeing as Fassol, I think he hastily did the meter burn spin and got the down 1 first. That's pretty nuts. I mean, he blocked the down 1, but then got hit by the spin. I don't think any player in the world will expect a meter burn spin after a block down 1, so it's totally understandable that he got hit by that. But man, crazy stuff.
Oh, it was another situation if he blocked the first hit but then got hit by the follow-up ones, which is just something that you want to make sure that you're not doing at this point. I understand it happens, everyone's human, but when it costs you the game, that's just something you have to really just get over it and just move on. Because he's moving on to the next game now, game 3, and it's 1-1 at the moment. We are tied up.
I think it's pretty interesting. I think he has gone for the same character, and he has once again gone War God.
He's changed costume though. I suppose that's something.
As we've mentioned though, like it was not Kotal Khan's fault that Shuffles lost that match, and he is more than capable of doing this. You know, that crazy comeback in game 1 and the consistency in game 2. I mean, I think he can take this. I think if he puts his mind to it and he gets some good scouting on the meatburn spin, he should be fine.
Well, it's the spin that's going to be the problem. That's again, he starts the round off the same way. He just doesn't meatburn this time, but he does get himself first hit.
That jump
so
distance
important.
meatburn spin.
The thing is, I would quite like to see Fassel doing more of his zoning, because this is what Kotal Khan really struggles against.
Kotal struggles to get in. He's one of the easier characters to zone, as I said. That's going to be a nice conversion here. You can normally get forward too, but I think he's going for consistent damage right now. And there's a low overhead. Lovely mix-up there. Again, only available in War God. Oh, it doesn't quite get the launcher. And now he himself is in the corner. This is not a great situation to be in. And unfortunately, he does drop that combo, but... Oh, catch challenge. Meatburn spin. Again, he gets the scout, but gets hit by the rest of it. That's very unfortunate. Oh, catch him with a max range.
Too far away.
When tagged at max range, unfortunately, that overhead does not launch. And that was a lovely punish with the meatburn spin. That is indeed unsafe, that overhead launcher.
It's unsafe to the meatburn spin because it projects itself so much forward. It's so quick. But he hasn't got any meter anymore, so he can throw out more of them for now.
He's getting hit by a lot of these low hats. Spending a lot of his bar on these, I mean, it's interesting. I think even on block, it's not really that beneficial. I personally would rather save the armor. And he's now scouting that overhead quite
really well.
He might have to start going for the down back too. You can do that string into a low also. A lovely armor. I mean, this man is just armoring through everything. And against Kung Lao, it's doing good for him. Again, trying to scout the wake up spin. And he does nothing. That's really nice. He's going to go overhead again. There we go. Overhead into the sword.
Shuffles mixing it up really well right now. Duels just block the environment. I'm not sure if I quite agree with the meter burn. If you're going to meter burn with something or make it that's unsafe, may as well make it the spin if that's what you got.
And this is again, I've seen it time again. That might be the next round if he doesn't drop it. And here we go. And he corners him with the air grab. Very smart stuff.
Shuffles is really making the most of this repositioning that Kotal Khan has access to. It's really, really smart.
Oh, and here we go though. I mean, we've seen here Fassel. He's getting so much mileage out of that string into low. Like, normally there's no reason to block high against Kung Lao when he's on a string, because that's the only thing he can do. Here's the down one again, which I think he must respect. I think he tried to spin there. That might be why he got tagged, but... Oh, an accident execution error, but good blocks there on the thing. He tries to counter poke with the overhead launcher, but doesn't quite get it. Has to break in that situation.
Really good break from Fassel. Thing is, Shuffle's been getting a lot of hits, but they're just random, like sort of like, you know, away tags, so it's not really doing a lot of damage at the moment.
They're not full combos. That was a lovely touch. If we can get that more often, then we're fine. Trying to scout a lot of wake-up spins, and they are just not coming. But you know the next time he presses a button, the spin's going to come. And he spends his only bar of meter on that. I'm not sure I agree, but...
Does get tagged with the very end. Again, not a lot of damage at all on that.
I mean, this could be quite tricky. He's going to try and just keep him away. And here comes low hat, and then we might see a meatburn spin here if he even
we need
needs
to
it.
see him start blocking that string. He's getting hit by that low consistently.
Full combo. He's going to break. He has to break, but now one more hit. We'll take it! Lovely read on the wake-up on the anti-S hat. But unfortunate, he's going to get tagged.
Quite an anticlimactic finish on the low hat, but that's all it took.
I think Shuffles is getting hit by too many of them, basically. I mean, when Kung Lao does a string against you, he's only ever going to go low. I mean, he can't, especially from those strings. The only time he can overhead, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only time he could go for the overhead is if he starts with the overhead. So if you block a mid, there's no reason to block high. I mean, the only thing he can do is a low. Shuffle was getting caught by so many of those lows halfway through the string.
It's just fuzzy guarding. It's fuzzy guarding it today. It's knowing what the option is and then reacting to the one that you're not too familiar with, or you know, slower. But you know, again, it was another close game. I don't really know how this set is going to go. I think if Fassel continues to put on this pressure and Shuffles doesn't start blocking these strings low in the middle of them, then this will definitely go to Fassel. However, if Shuffles manages to conserve his meter a bit more, I don't like the way he's using his meter bend projectile as much. I can see why
it's not needed though.
I can see why he's using it, but using the bar on that means you don't have the bar for the sword. It means you don't have the bar closer to a breaker, which against Kung Lao, you kind of need a breaker if you can really help it.
The armor is what's helping Shuffles here, that's the thing. The armor is what's really helping him out in these situations where he's trying to counter poke with it. And without it, it just doesn't really help him that much.
So we can see Shuffles getting some early pressure on at the moment.
Here we go, both players here. I mean, he gets the first hits, which is good, which is very important. But again, he's getting tagged by that string. I mean, he's needn't getting tagged by it. There's no need for him to. But a lovely jump from Fassel on the prediction of that down one.
That's confirmed this full combo. Does drop it though, 24%, really not too much damage at all. He's blocking this really well, and the good punish on the meatburn spin.
It's quite an interesting break. I mean, I think he's confident he can win. The one thing I'd really love to see from Shuffles, if he starts throwing out the low sword, He's not really going for it that much, but unfortunately, like Faso is now he recognizes that move and he knows to block it high, and he's going to start punishing with bar. But if Shuffle starts going for the low, it's much harder. You know, you've got that option that you must respect. It's going to be quite hard for him to make a comeback, but we have seen him make a comeback before, but unfortunately, it's not this time. Match point, Faso.
Problem is, Shuffles is significantly down on meter at this point.
It's not a great position to be in, really, but I mean, he's trying to scout. He's doing a lot of baiting, as we can see here. But because he's building so much meter through these up-close shenanigans that Fasol's using, he always has a breaker the second he actually gets tagged by his Shuffles.
Low overhead again, really good use of the mix-up. Some Shuffles goes to this straight raw overhead sword. Again, we're not seeing him use the low sword at any point.
But he uses only bar of meter on the sword. Hopefully it helps him, but the armor is helping him quite a lot. And it gets tagged by the counter poke on the spin. Something he's been trying to do to Fasol the whole set, but that's another overhead. He hasn't actually gone for the low a single time in this whole set. It's quite interesting. Oh, and he's not biting this time. Fasol's starting to really respect that armor and is now getting punishes. And
again with the adaptation, he was getting hit by so many of them at the start, but now he's struggling really hard to open him up with it. And the Meatbird Spin will take this match.
Fasol will take that 3-1. Good stuff from Faso. I mean, I think one of the deciding factors there, I think, really was Shuffles using a couple of things, really. Shuffles using his only bar of meter a lot of the time, his only bar of meter on the meter burn sword, where on block or hit, it's interesting it gets damage, but I don't feel like he's in a much of a better situation when the meter burn sword lands. And the armor was what was really helping him in a lot of those situations. Plus also the lack of the low sword.
Well, it looks like we are going to be seeing a rematch of Foxy Grandpa versus Fasol.
Another Kung Lao mirror, most likely.
Wait, we will be seeing it soon. That's what I want to say. That's what I mean. Let's move on from that. We'll be seeing them play each other again, much like we saw a few days ago. We are seeing Fasol do a lot more than we saw him do a few days ago, so this set could very well go differently, but Foxy is on a bit of a roll at the moment. He has just taken out Nivek, the other guy that he had to fight in the grand finals a couple of days ago. Nivek did get second, he took first, and he's already beaten Nivek, and he's already beaten Fasol in the past, so it looks like Foxy's going to be going in with a bit more momentum, but Fasol, again, like I said before, is doing more than we've seen him do in the past, so all to play for.
It's quite interesting. I mean, if someone is going to dethrone Foxy, it'll be quite interesting if a Kung Lao mirror does it. We saw Fasol try playing Kitana. He tried using Kitana in the first game, and it really didn't work out for him, and he went straight to Buzzsaw Lao. Did slightly better, but unfortunately, I mean, that set was pretty much all Foxy when we last saw it. But Faso, as we've said, has been doing some different things here. He's been doing some new strats, stuff that we haven't seen before. So that if he's going to be enforcing that against Foxy, you know, although I'm certain Foxy has seen it before, as a Kung Lao player himself, we would hope this is going to be a closer set.
We're moving on into the semi-finals now, so we're going to be seeing Mitsuones versus Mr. Aquari in the first semi, and then as we've literally just talked about, we're going to be seeing Foxy Grandpa versus Fasol as well. So, again, a very aggressive final. Looks like Europe is very much dominated by aggressive play right now in these top 16s. So we've got we've got Scorpion and well, I'm assuming we'll see Sonya Blade, and I'm assuming we'll see a Kung Lao mirror. So very fast-paced.
I mean, if Aquari's stuck with Sonya all this way, I would be very surprised if he changes. Obviously, Mitsuones, we've seen him use, you know, Scorpion anyway, and he's been using Scorpion the whole time.
Something we saw from Mitsuones quite a lot was a lot of 2-1 into low minion grabs, but he was doing them on wake up, tagging the 1, but then the minion was coming out. So he wasn't hit confirming himself too much either, just because those minion grabs were coming out. And Mr. Aquari also is playing on a lot of reads and isn't hit confirming everything either. So this is going to be a really quick, really quite aggressive, quite ballsy set, I should assume.
It's going to be a very brave set, I think. There's going to be a lot of stuff being used. I mean,
a lot of moves being performed, a lot of rounds being won.
But I mean, like, both players are doing stuff on block.
They are going to play the game, get the combos, and win the rounds.
Only one of them will win the rounds.
One will win, one will lose.
But, I mean, we've seen both players here where they go for a lot of unsafe stuff, where on hit they get big reward, but on block they are punishable. I mean, we've not seen them they're playing unsafe, but they're not actually being punished very hard for what they're doing. So it'll be interesting to see if both players that have similar playstyles will actually punish each other for the stuff that they're doing. Looks like both players are setting up now. I mean, Mr. Aquari using a lot of sort of Aaron Black. We've seen him use Aaron Black in the past, but I do feel like Sonya really is his sort of go-to character at this point, especially seeing as he's getting so much mileage out of the mix-ups that she has. I mean, she really is overhead low, just all this constant stuff that you just need to constantly try and just it's not easy to block against, especially, you know, in these tournament circumstances where it can get the better of you.
When we saw Mr. Aquari playing Pulsar, we saw what we both assumed to be quite a lot of character unfamiliarity and how to block these certain things. So if Mitsuones knows how to block these strings, then we could very well see a different result. But at the same time, will Mr. Aquari make that adjustment, or will he just simply guess right on these 50-50s over and over? Or will Mitsuones do the same thing? Again, they're both going to play very similar, because that's what they can do.
The reality is, if Mitsuones punishes, especially if he's in Inferno Scorpion with the max damage, if he's playing Inferno Scorpion against Aquari, you know, it's going to be harder for Aquari to do, you know, the full screen arc kicks and the stuff that he likes to do from full screen to try and close in space. The Inferno stuff is going to actually, it's going to hurt him. It's not going to be as easy for him to advance in. And at the same time, if Mitsuones actually punishes a lot of these moves, he's going to get good damage, but then into the vortex of his own, which he gets anywhere on screen because he's Scorpion.
Well, I mean, Mitsuones we've only really seen play Scorpion up until this point, but I know that Mr. Aquari does play Black and Sonya, so I think we may see a pick, because obviously the only game that Mr. Aquari lost to Pulsar was to Shinnok, which again wasn't really a landslide match. He stood a quite good chance in that game, whereas when we see sort of losses, like for example Pulsar switch himself from Ermac to Shinnok, that was after quite a dominant set. So I think we could see a character swap for Mr. Aquari if he loses quite convincingly. If not, I think we can see him stick with Sonya. It looks like he's going to go Sonya versus Scorpion.
I do see a skull on his belt, so I do think he's gone Inferno, which is cool. I mean, it's a good variation. I mean, Inferno is definitely, without a doubt, the most popular variation.
Full screen low that you have to respect.
And here comes the Inferno zoning already. That's fully unsafe on block. He actually tries to jump out of unsafe frames, which is quite interesting, but here comes the dive kick. Again, not fully punished, but that's going to be an interesting break here. Try and save himself from any kind of combo or mix-up that Mr. Aquari was going to do to him. And here comes all these crazy mix-ups that Scorpion has.
Does get the minion grab, forces the break out of Mr. Aquari. Does get the he hasn't got the meter to really go in and punish his moves.
He's getting tagged by a lot of these. Here comes the low grab, and that is the chance you need, and that's a really interesting meter burn teleport. Oh, full combo punish, and that's going to be it. Again,
like, Mitsuones decides to commit into the teleport. Again, playing very risky, but it's paying off for him very well right now.
Here comes the overhead. Yep, these mix-ups that are just really tricky to block against. Especially in a situation where normally you block low and on reaction to the dive kick stand up. But in these situations, like those kind of blocks can be quite tricky. And this should be a good full combo from Aquari if he can pull this off. And is he going to wake up teleport? No, he's going to try and jump out on wake up. And interesting trying to jump out from mid-screen. Normally you see people only try and do that in the corner. Go, both players, a lot of jumping, but they're both trying to sort of feed each other out right now. This could be a full combo into knockdown. Is the wake-up teleport going to come? That's something he has to bait, and here it comes, right as I say it, here comes the wake-up teleport. He's making a lot of just hard reads, and they're working out for him, and that's going to close out the gap.
That's going to be the game, just like that, the minion grab. He is making this one last.
And then he gets 25% for it. How about that?
Again with the trolling for Mitsuones.
He's done a lot of trolling, I think. He's making the most of it. He's making the most of it, no doubt. I think, again, it was all him. I mean, these are both momentum characters, but because Inferno gives him that full screen presence that he doesn't have in other variations, Sonya, who is a character that, you know, the reality is she's dangerous, but she needs to get in. And Scorpion, you know, in Inferno has a way to just keep them away. You know, it's not going to zone people out the entire game, but it's going to harass you as you try and come in. And we saw there, Aquari, he ended up getting in, but not before he ate a bunch of dive kicks or got tagged by a few low grabs on the way. And it's not easy for you to get in without taking damage.
Well, but the thing is, he was also punishing Mr. Aquari quite hard, which is something we didn't see before. But when you're actually getting punished, that does make you second guess your approach.
And it makes an unsafe style of play just even more risky than it already was, especially against Inferno Scorpion with the damage he has. And as we literally just saw there, like the vortex of which that character puts on you, he puts you in pretty crazy mix-ups. And because you're left standing, you know, you can't wake up attack. You can armor sometimes, but it's, you know, it's not like a go-to option.
So as I was saying before, I only really predicted a character swap if we saw Mr. Aquari lose quite convincingly. That's exactly what's happened. He's going to outlaw Aaron Black right now. So again, maybe he's just more comfortable against Scorpion in this matchup. You know, that's when players play multiple characters, you do it due to what you're comfortable with fighting and what you're not. If he thinks that Sonya might have quite a lot of issues against Scorpion, that's where Aaron Black he might think is going to be able to really
bring in where those weaknesses are. Oh, interesting read of the meter burn takedown. He does actually get it. A lot of wake-up jumps from Mitsuones. I mean, it's normally not really a go-to option, but it's working out for him.
If it's not being punished, then it becomes an option. That's just the way it works.
And that's going to be a full combo punish, tags him with the low. This can be a Vortex, blocks it. Oh my days, and instead of just blocking the spear and punishing, he tries to down 3, which just was not the punish that you want really. Full combo punishable, but he does block in time. Doesn't manage to block low though, so he doesn't get the full-on punish, but he does still get the hit. It's very risky to see him going for so many low minions because they are very unsafe on block. But here's the hard knockdown into another overhead. This combo should take it. I don't think Mitsuones is going to break this. Is he gonna go command grab? Here comes those attacks, but he's nearly out of them. He's going to put himself into the attacks. He's going to kill himself if he tries to stand there.
He's sticking down 4s into the counter drops.
Lovely
and
sand trap. Lovely
trade.
sand trap.
Just a trade is all it takes.
I mean, it's risky stuff. Doing those low minions on block, it's risky stuff. Oh, interesting. Good wake-up teleport. His reads on these wake-up teleports have been so strong all the time. Good break.
Again, jump kick just dialed into the teleport. He is making so many reads right now.
And this could be a full combo into mix-up, into grab. Mia burn grab. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but here we go. Doing it on block. That is very unsafe, but here comes another good read from the low.
That's just riding momentum. That's all it is. If you know you're just, the other opponent is just, he's on the fence. He has no idea how to deal with it.
And unfortunately,
you can get away with those just risky plays.
And unfortunately, because Aquari used his only bar of meter on the Mia burn spin, he's now going into this game with no slide. Because he spent his only bar on that, he's now going into this round with no meter.
Oh wow,
a lot of jumping. Oh, good overhead, good overhead. And that's a good down 3. Blocks the overhead. That's a full combo punish. One of the things that if you don't hit confirm, it will be quite unsafe.
Well, something people do tend to agree with is that Aaron Black, he's got a lot of tools, but something he doesn't really have is consistent anti-air. So Mitsuones is really making the most of that right now, and just jumping around, making sure he can't really do anything about it.
Here comes on the mix-up.
50-50.
Good grab.
I like how Mitsuones is going for the grab so often because he knows that the opponent's going to block because he's expecting 50-50, which gives you the grab. Really smart.
A nice punish as well. This should be a full combo. And what comes next really? Oh, he tries to do the wake up low grab. Interesting. Another wake up attack as well. I think you expect a wake up attack. But sometimes it's not the wake up attack you expect. Normally Scorpion players will do wake up teleport. But because the meter burn takedown is armored too. So even if you expect a wake-up attack, it may not necessarily be the wake-up attack you were expecting, and that's a low.
So we're looking 2-0 to Mitsuones right now. Looks like the highest I've seen him get before in the ESL business is the 2nd place he got in the final preseason cup. He could be very well on his way to getting a minimum of 2nd in this one today.
He's doing very well. I mean, if he's going at this rate, he will, at this rate, he's going to 3 straight his way into grand finals. I mean, he's Inferno Scorpion is just such a scary variation. It has so many mix-ups. And a lot of times there where, like, normally, if a Scorpion player does 2-1 or 2-on-4 into low minion on block, you'd get hit and go, oh, why would he do that? And it's so unsafe. But it's so unsafe, you don't expect it.
Well, we've seen him... I mean, the issue is, right, we've seen Mr. Aquari play a lot of Aaron Black and a lot of Sonya. He's tried both of those characters and they've both lost.
I feel like Aaron Black did better than Sonya, though.
I think he could still win it with those characters if he just makes his reads a bit more on point and starts to really capitalize on this damage, because he's dropping a lot of damage. And as we really can't stress enough, making sure that when you get those hits, you're getting the damage, you need to do that. Because if you're missing out on damage, you're missing out on the opportunity to win the round.
I think, though, he definitely did better when he picked Aaron Black. I mean, combo punishes, I mean, I'm not sure whether it was Aaron Black specific, but he punished the teleport more consistently with Aaron Black. I mean, Sonya hurts a lot anyway, especially in the variation that he was playing, but in those sort of situations where you're punishing him, you need to punish him, but then it's always a read, especially against Scorpion. Even if you're punishing him and comboing him, you still need to make the read. So when you knock him down, is he going to wake up attack? If he's up close, is he going to armored takedown? Is he going to try and... We saw a lot of jumps as well. We saw a lot of wake up jumps, which normally a meaty string will just blow straight through, especially with someone like Aaron Black, who can go everything into command grab, which is a hard knockdown, which gives him the pressure that he needs.
But then at the same time, Mitsuones is doing a lot of wake-ups, but they're all meter burn teleports. So it's armored. So if you try and do a meaty string to beat a wake-up, and he does that, then you are going to get hit by that teleport and straight into the 50-50 yourself. Scorpion is a very hard character to pin down for reasons like that. He's got a lot of mobility. His teleport cancel means that you can't even consistently punish his teleport if you see him do it, especially, when you're doing it at this sort of situation where you're looking at big money on the line between losing and winning, then it gives you a lot of advantage. Everyone wants... these people want to get grand finals, you know what I mean? Both players are one set away from doing it, though.
It's like we've mentioned, it's not just about the cash prize, it's about those placement points. If you get into grand finals, that is a massive chunk of points that you're going to earn and get your spot in that top 16. As we've mentioned, only 5 European players well, I say only, that's a good amount for European players, will make it to the top 16 in Burbank, California. I mean, the fact that 5 players in general will get sent from Europe is huge, because most of the time with these big tournaments, it's, you know, if a European's going to be at a tournament, it's going to be 1 or maybe 2, but, you know, this time 5 people are getting selected, and your place between now and Grand Finals, those 25 points or however much the difference is, you know, that could be the deciding factor between you being one of those 5 players.
Well, even looking back at the ratio of players that were at the Fatal 8 not too long ago, we saw 8 players in total. 2 were British, and we saw Tony T from Australia, and every other participant was American. So it was a case of a good ratio back then for, you know, sort of covering the globe, and now we're looking at the same thing now. So there is going to be at least 5 from Europe. There's going to be 2 from CIS. Like, there's going to be good representation. But to be one of those 5 players, you have to take part in these weekly events. Visit gg.esl/MKX Pro League to find out how you too can get involved in these free-to-enter. Anyone can enter online leagues where you play through on Sunday through to top 16, and then we'll be playing through the rest on Wednesdays, where you'll be seeing just like this.
Well, the reality is, if you guys at home, if you think you've got what it takes to take on these players, I mean,
that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. It's a good place to do it, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. We're going to go straight into this Max. He's gone back into
Special Forces.
Sonya, but he has changed variation.
Special Forces Sonya, so he has a lot more full screen, but that drone is not tracking Scorpion at all.
But it's because he's all over the place. That teleport puts him from one side of the screen to the other. And is he going to get... Here's a low into a low. I mean, he's going nuts. This is that vortex that Scorpion has. He's going to land that one hit on you and then put you in this guessing situation. And he's guessing wrong every time. And that's a really good bait. I love how he puts on all that pressure, and the one time he knocks him down, he actually gets a good bait read. Oh, unfortunately, the drone actually punishes him earlier than he thought he would. That's going to be a full combo punish.
Nice combo from Mr. Aquari, getting some damage on the table. There we go. He needs to get more of that if he's going to be able to win the setback.
Interesting that he stood there and took it, and that's going to be a low. It doesn't quite get the convert. That's going to be a full combo punish, though. Interesting break. Is he going to go for a low minion? Here comes some kind of minion. Here he comes. Oh, lovely air to air. Doesn't quite get the combo conversion. Gets a good sweep, but that could have been a full combo. Oh, my days. Oh, good read on the armor as well, and that will put him
just like that.
Match
Mr.
point.
with the overhead.
Oh, crazy stuff.
1 round away from a minimum of 75 placement points and minimum $300.
Oh, unfortunate there. A really good teleport. I mean, Mitsuone's reads on all of these teleports has just been so rock solid the whole time. I mean, this guy, I mean, he has no fear, but it's helping him. And here comes the full corner combo. And what are we going to see here? Is he going to wake up?
38% though.
Tagged by the mix-up. Really good block into his own counter poke there with the overhead. That should be a whiff punish. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite punish it, but he does throw him into the corner, which is very important.
Good read on the flip kick. Mr. Aquari is making some really good reads of his own right now.
Oh, and he goes for it as the low. Now, this next mix-up could be the difference between Grand Finals and surviving another game. Gets a good read. That is safe on block, though. Interesting uppercut. It was very smart going for the meat burn spear, because it does make your low options safe, and that is why he did that. But unfortunately, Mr. Aquari did block it successfully, and that's going to be his own mix-up. Good break. Here comes that drone. He's trying to cast it.
Mr. Aquari really does have a bit of a mountain to climb right now. He's looking at match point deficit, but he has managed to put a round on the table. If he can win this game, he could ride that momentum to get back, but we'll have to see. He's getting some really good reads on these mix-ups. The drone does save him from a full combo.
Oh, I'm not sure about that X-ray. That was a crazy read. If you're going to go for the teleport, you may as well just block and punish, but it doesn't seem to have hurt him. The next, he might wake up teleport here. You got to watch out. One more bar of meter, and that could decide the set. Here comes the next hit. There it is. Really lovely bait, and that will be a full combo punish. He drops it. Oh, it doesn't matter.
The down 3 will do it, though. We're seeing that a lot today. When people are on this that tiny slither of health after a bit of a comeback, it's just a little poke. To really have an anticlimactic finish to a really good game.
I think if that X-ray hit, that would have been sick.
That would have been fantastic.
He basically, what happened there was, he X-rayed on his wake up because he thought, if you do anything, if you do a wake up button press, if you do a wake up teleport, like I think you're going to do, you're going to eat the X-ray. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful, but Mr. Williams also didn't actually punish the X-ray. And then he just rode the momentum and then managed to pull it through. Normally, when you waste your entire X-ray on a read that's not successful, it's very bad and it's hard for you to come back because you've lost all of your bar, but it didn't really matter for him.
He's managed to bag himself a game. 2 more of those, and he's in Grand Finals as well. So Mitsuones is now looking at, he won't be getting a 3-0 sweep anymore. Although he has managed, it's a question of, he's beat Mr. Aquari twice. But he's not beat Mr. Aquari playing this variation of this character. And Mr. Aquari has now beat the character that he couldn't beat before. So there's a lot of, Mr. Aquari's going to be hopefully getting a lot more confidence now, knowing he's done this. So he's got a bit more breathing space.
Scorpion. Sticking with Inferno Scorpion.
I wouldn't assume we'd see Mitsuones changing.
That is one of the tracking things of that dart. It doesn't track Scorpion as well because his His teleport makes him so agile. He's going to try and... There we go, that's going to be a full combo punish. Good break. That's one of the things, because he's blocking so many times from full screen, it's very difficult for him to actually avoid him getting bar. So we're looking at Mr. Wones is... Oh, it's really even around right now. Both placing about 50% health. Really, Mr. Aquarius getting some momentum. Oh, doesn't quite avoid the teleport. Teleport tracks him quite well. Oh, dive kick whiffs on another brave dive kick from Mr. Wones to really bring it together. And just like that, Mr. Wones is once again on match point. He was looking one round away from a minimum of $300 of prize. Just gonna dive kick, no confirm, no punish though. Does block dive kick into dive kick. Mr. Aquari with just this play we're seeing right now. But we are on a match point right now for Mr. Wones. Oh, the point blank minion. This is crazy stuff. Tagged by the teleport again. He has so much bar. He opts to save it. That combo drop. Oh my god, he does it again!
Mr. Wones, why? Why?
Mr. Aquari loves the X-ray. He loves it.
No, but it came out and then he punched it.
Full combo, full combo. One more touch will do it. One more touch will do it, and he takes it. That was literally everything. He bet the whole tournament on that X-ray, and he got it. What a read. Literally, that is the ultimate in brave play. He's looking at... He's not managed to bag the first hit. A good safe option. Does challenge it anyway. Unfortunately now, though, he has no meter to break any of this stuff, so it's going to be a very honest comeback. You know, he has to spend... It's got to be very balls to the wall, I suppose. Just hope he doesn't guess wrong. Combo. Oh my god, one more hit will do it. Is he going to scout the meter burn? Literally, the meter burn teleport would have worked.
Oh, and again it would have worked.
Aquari going in. He gets tagged. That should be a punish. He gets a full combo punish. He needs to stay on him. Watch out. Problem is when Special Forces
there's a teleport. He scouts it.
When
he has no room to breathe.
When Special Forces doesn't have the drone, her standing punishes are quite limited, but with it, it's enough to win. He doesn't commit. I was truly expecting him to commit into something. Lovely read. One more hit will do it.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Aquari just had to punish harder. He was doing too many individual attacks where he should have been committing. He had the chance. I mean, the issue there, as we mentioned, was without the drone. Sorry, without the drone, her punishes are not as big as they are in other variations.
Yes.
So although he got so many tags there,
it just wasn't enough to then get the amount of damage. He needed to get that last little bit.
If he was in the
That's heartbreaking.
It's kind of crazy how if he was in the first variation, not to rub it in obviously, but if he was in the first variation, every single one of those touches would have been death because the sheer damage that Sonya gets. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's unfortunate. I mean, he was in the process of making a really immaculate comeback, but it just didn't quite have the damage.
But well played to Mr. Wones, managing to be our first grand finalist of week 2. Really, really impressive Scorpion play. He knows a lot of knowledge of that Vortex. He knows his safer options when he's got the meter. He's using it really well, really good teleports, really good cancels, and he has found his way into grand finals, bagging himself a minimum of 75 league points and at least $300 in prize money.
It's pretty huge. I mean, obviously, you know, huge congratulations to Mr. Aquari. I think this is the farthest he's ever, you know, progressed in a bracket before. So, you know, it's great that the first time he's performed, like the best he has done is live, you know, in front of all of you viewers at home on our second stream for this ESL Pro League. But we've got the next match coming up, which is going to be Foxy Grandpa from the UK versus Fasol, which I'm excited. I mean, we've seen the Kung Lao mirror before. It didn't go in Fasol's favor. Foxy won it. But Fasol has been playing much better now than he was a couple of days ago. So this can be a really interesting set. I want to see what happens.
I predict we'll see a Kung Lao mirror again. I mean, that's what we saw last time a little bit. But he did try Katana, but didn't have as much success there. He definitely stood more of a chance with Kung Lao. But again, Foxy is no stranger to the Kung Lao mirror match. He plays it quite often with some of his training partners. And obviously, he's played Fasol in it as well. So
he's played Kung Lao mirrors for a long time. I mean, we saw our Evolution in 2012, for example, you know, during Mortal Kombat 9. Foxy Grandpa and Rio both had an incredible Kung Lao mirror match that, fortunately, you know, Foxy was able to pull through and take that. You know, this guy has had Kung Lao mirrors for a very long time, and he's used to it. He's used to mirror matches. You know, people always try and pick his own character against him, and Fasol is a very competent Kung Lao player anyway. But
so you at home, we are now looking at the opportunity to now again predict who you think will win this match. We are approaching the last semi-final now, so after this there will just be the grand final. So those of you who have been successful up until this point, Congratulations and good luck on being continuously successful with your predictions as you stand that one step closer to win that copy of Mortal Kombat X. You have 3 minutes from this point to make your predictions. Who do you think will win? Will Fasol be able to turn this around and win the match he could not do previously, or will Foxy Grandpa be able to once again get his way into grand finals?
Is somebody going to dethrone Foxy? That's the question I want to know.
Can this man be stopped?
Can he be stopped? Is he going to win it? Is he going to win all of these? You know, what will it take for someone to beat him? And if it takes a Kung Lao mirror to stop Foxy, I'm quite excited for. You know, as we've said, Fasol's playing a lot better now with this character. He's clearly learned and he's adapted and has gone, what do I need to do to improve at the game? This pretty much means that the mirror match here, hopefully, I really hope it will be a much closer set. Because it'll be more exciting, I suppose.
It has the potential to. I mean, like I have said multiple times before leading up into this, we're seeing a lot of improvement from Fasol in just a couple of days. So I think he is very capable of pulling this one back. But it's a question of if Foxy can ride the momentum, I suppose. Because he's going into this with a win under his belt already. And he knows that, okay, I've got 2 more sets to win, and then I win another $500 and another 100 league points.
This man has made a lot of money through Mortal Kombat already. I mean, Foxy has won, as we mentioned, Foxy has won 2 of the ESL pre-seasons. He won week 1 of the European ESL Top 8. And he's also the Manchester winner in the UK of the Mortal Kombat Cup. I mean, this guy's won a lot already. And he's doing incredibly well. I mean, it's just... there are players out there that can stop him. I know they are. And they need to come to this league and prove it. And Fasol very well might be one of these players tonight.
Well, I mean... it's just a question of how it's going to go. How is this set going to go? Because
both players are setting up. I mean, they're almost ready to go.
I mean, they're looking like they're nearly ready to go. But are you guys ready to go? Have you got your predictions placed? You are now approaching not too long left to make your predictions. Make sure they count. Up until this point, there is 3 copies of Mortal Kombat X to be won, so make sure you're getting your points on the table.
I'm quite excited to see what comes next. I mean, we've only seen Mitsuones make grand finals in one of the tournaments.
But now we can actually watch him in grand finals.
And now we can see him live. I'm excited to see what he can do, because as we've seen, it's very risky, but it's high risk, high reward.
It's paid off for him all the way up until this point. So if he does this high risk, high reward play against, for example, if Fasol make the grand finals, will Fasol be able to make the comeback on him again?
It's all about reads.
Because Kung Lao is not going to 50-50 you to death.
No, he won't. He won't. But he will punish you hard and corner press. What he's going to do is he'll punish you very hard, and then he's going to corner carry you. And then he's going to play low hat shenanigans once you're in the corner. And then he's going to bait that wake-up teleport if he thinks you're going to do it.
So no matter who wins this, it's realistic that Mitsuones is going to be coming up against a Kung Lao player in the grand finals. How does Scorpion really match up against Kung Lao? I mean, he's got a lot of mobility. It's hard to keep him in the corner, which is something that Kung Lao really wants to do. But he can punish everything Scorpion has quite well with his meter burn spin.
Plus, when you get hit by a teleport, I mean, I'm not sure if it's entirely possible, but if you get hit by a Scorpion teleport, Kung Lao's meter burn spin might be able to chew through a lot of stuff that Scorpion's going to try and do in terms of pressure. Scorpion might have to do what he may not have to do very often and bait himself. When he puts you in a situation where you're in a vortex, he might have to bait you instead.
So here we go. This game, Foxy Grandpa with your Revenant Kung Lao versus Fasol with a standard Kung Lao, both picking Buzzsaw as predicted. This is a battle of good versus evil. I've actually already lost track of which one is Revenant. Foxy Grandpa is Revenant. He's the one with no hair. Okay, here we go. As you can see here, it's going to be a lot of baiting, I feel. I mean, there's a lot, in situations like that where they're both blocking, both players there baited a meter burn spin. Like, absolutely. And that's plus. You can't jump out normally, but normally low hat and the meter burn is actually plus on block. It's in a good situation. Oh, lovely. Oh, good read, but unfortunately doesn't quite get anything off it. So Foxy Grandpa is looking at being the aggressor right now. Very even health. Good punish on the... No, good break. Fasol knows.
This is such a mirror match. They're doing so many of the same things. Lovely bait on that spin. That's going to be a full combo. Oh, he doesn't quite get it. And he's going to do the lovely run to reposition him and put him in the corner. And here comes that meter burn low hat stuff that Foxy loves to do. And there's the anti-cross up spin. You just can't, no matter how tempting it is.
If he's got meter, you can't leave the ground.
It's tempting. It's tempting. But you can't jump. You can't jump in on Kung Lao when he's got a bar. Here comes this poking game.
It's building so much meter as well with all these blocks.
Oh, getting tagged by the low. That is not quite a huge whiff punish because you can't quite reach him, but a low hat will do.
Foxy has cornered himself right here. What will this mean?
I feel like Fasol's doing much better. Unfortunately, like, that's one thing about meter burn spin. In the corner, it has crazy pushback. A lot of stuff that normally punishes doesn't punish anymore when it's in the corner.
Well, it's a lot more difficult to punish, not so much. But, oh, standard spin. I would say it was going for meter burn, but he had no meter to burn with it, so that was just a raw read by itself. Oh, double overhead again. He has no meter to wake up spin. Wake up regular spin. That's pretty crazy stuff. You don't really see that very much nowadays, especially seeing as...
Oh, lovely anti-cross up spin. And that's going to be a bait as well. He's just not really getting away with any of these meter burn spins anymore. Foxy seems to just be in his head. Well, I mean, this is kind of what we saw before. I mean, both rounds, Foxy did lose quite a substantial amount of health. But at the same... Foxy Grandpa with his microphone plugged in by the looks of things. He needs to turn his microphone off. But no, we're seeing... You'll only hear my voice right now. And yours. Okay, yeah, sure. And yours, obviously. Cool, but no, that is very much how we saw the set go last time. Foxy did manage to, well, I say, Fasol managed to take quite a lot of health off, but fundamentally, just too many reads on the block spin. Fasol was being a lot, way too free by throwing them out. So they were getting punished consistently, blocked and punished consistently, but he was still doing them. It's quite tricky. It is an option, it is a threat, but try not to become too predictable with it, because that's when it really starts to hurt you. Because the thing is, in the clutch situations where, you know, one combo will kill you, the more tense the situation becomes, the more obvious your armoured reversals tend to be. I mean, Fasol got away with a lot of meter burn spins because his reads were very spot on in a lot of previous games. But against Foxy, this guy plays Kung Lao. He knows when you're going to spin because that's when he would have spun. So he has these, you know, these thoughts in his head already. That's an amazing first hit. That's a really nice convert actually off the low hat. And again with the spin. So Fasol is now without any meter whatsoever, and he gains... Oh wow, Foxy was looking for the low setup, but doesn't hold it, just throws it raw. Fasol trying to fight his way out of the corner, doing a good job of it. Doesn't quite confirm into the low there. That's going to be a full combo into the corner though. And that's going to be, this next combo may kill. And here comes that pressure that Kung Lao has. And he himself counter pokes. We haven't actually seen that much. A lot of it has just been him baiting Fasol's spin and then punishing, but that's one of the first times I've actually seen him counter poke. Well, when you've got so much of a sort of substantial life lead, you can get really aggressive with your spins like that, which is what makes them work. And Foxy's now fighting his way gradually out of the corner, but you know, just one turnaround, like one combo from this point would put either opponent in the corner, which is where you just immediately have the edge. Oh, he doesn't quite have the stamina. He was not able to actually do his run cancel there. You see his stamina go red. But it doesn't really matter too much. He's still in a good situation. And both players, as an unsafe dive kick, they both block there to try and bait a spin once again. I think Fasol is making a bit too many incorrect reads on these very, very unsafe moves. Like Foxy's being very calm, very collected. Everything he's throwing out is here safe. Oh, just like that's it. Oh my god! And he tried to brutality it, but he didn't quite get it. So that's a swift 2-0 to Foxy Grandpa. It's looking like he will be able to repeat what he did last time.
I like this guy. Fasol's cool.
No, I like this guy. Fasol's cool. I like this guy. I like this guy. He's alright. Foxy, please mute your mic. Turn your microphone off, my friend. But it's a very swift 2-0. A very swift 2-0 indeed. I mean, he's just all over him. Do you think we'll see him switch back to Katana? Maybe. I don't feel like the mirror is working for him. You can tell what he's trying to do, but he's just being a bit too unsafe. Like, from what I can see, he's throwing out a bit too many unsafe specials. I mean, it's not just the spins, it's the dive kicks. Like, dive kicks aren't really going to get you too much in this mirror match, especially when he's got so much meter to burn. Fasol has selected full auto Jackie Briggs. Online's favourite variation. No, everyone loves this variation. What are we talking about? It's everyone's favourite. It's the best. But I've never seen him use it. I've never actually seen Foxy fight full auto, so I don't even know if Foxy's fought full auto Jackie Briggs before, but hopefully this will be a nice testament as to how to deal with the keep away, if that's what Fasol wants to do. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is the first time we've seen Fasol play this character. He manages to bag himself first hit with the machine gun. Okay, so Foxy already knows he needs to do crouch. He's now just going to counter poke and then find his way in. That machine gun's not going to be a huge threat. He's got low hat, which will counter zone, and that's a lovely conversion. And here we go. He tries to bait the wake up there because obviously one of the things that Jackie Briggs will always try and do is the meter burn armor to get through. And that's a really nice overhead. It's unfortunately too far away to really get anything off it. But Fasol's going to play more of a smart keep away game. If he thinks he's within jump range, he's going to try and check him. But he's going to now try and get in. I don't think the low hat will work too much. But he's going to try and find his way in here. But there's going to be a lot of what people sort of, it's called zoning, really, where the opponent's going to keep you away with special moves. Fox uses the multiple hits of the meter burn spin to really blow through that, but he manages to get himself sent full screen. Oh, he's getting zoned out very well now, though. He's not really being able to get anything going. This might be one of those sort of download matches that a lot of players have, but that may not... Oh, it doesn't quite get both hits. This next up will go. Lovely block, and that's what the backdash is for. It doesn't quite get the conversion. Wow. Well, that was an interesting round. Okay, I think he tried to convert, but that whiff was pretty substantial. Round 2. Well, the thing is, Fasol has got himself cornered at the moment, which means that Jackie is going to be dealing with a lot of problems at this point. Oh, I don't know. I mean, that's a read, and he's just going to low hat you if he's successful in the read. Corners himself, I don't think it matters huge. He's going to get full conversion here because he has the stamina available. Max damage, 40%. Just like that. Oh, interesting use of the armor. And he's going to try and zone him out, but he hasn't really got much life, so it's going to be quite tricky for him to do that.
I mean, this is a trade that he can't afford to take.
Yeah,
he knows.
Foxy will take that trade all day.
Full screen anti-air, just like that. I mean, in that situation, how does Jackie make the comeback? If your zoning won't do it because you'll just trade and lose, you can't get in because his up-close options are better than yours, and you have no meter. But she's got a bar now. I mean, she has got that armored reversal, but how useful will it be? Like, yeah, we're just going to use like that.
It doesn't quite get the jump in on that. I mean, the thing is, when Jackie's waiting to respect the low hat or shooting into the air to respect an option you have, she's not shooting back-to-back machine guns. The back-to-back machine guns are how she really keeps her screen dominance. Yeah, that's a full combo punish. Doesn't quite... He's a bit too far away to get the punish, unfortunately.
Interesting decision by Fasol to run at him. I mean, he had the full screen to work with, but he decided to just lose it entirely, and now he's just eating so much damage.
Oh, Kung Lao's not got the hat, so he's got to work his way in again.
That's something you will see Jackie players using the meter burn on like gunshot and hit because it sends full screen, which is exactly where they want to be.
But this low hat's pretty much just checking Jackie. It's just keeping her in check. She can't just do back-to-back machine guns because she'll trade low hat.
That was a really nice conversion to catch the jump from Foxy. It's going to be really hard for Fasol to make the comeback in here because Foxy's almost sitting at a full bar of meter, and this is chip damage health from Kung Lao's X-Ray.
Oh, there we go. Unfortunate there, but it's going to get the... Oh,
No!
he traded X-Ray! This might be everything! Oh, he drops the combo though, but it doesn't really matter. That could have been a huge combo, but I'm pretty sure this... Yeah, it's quite
There
good.
was nothing Jackie could do. That was literally guaranteed death.
And Foxy pretty much marches his way into Grand Finals. I mean, it's hard to call a match like that because a lot of people, they heavily dislike Jackie's machine gun. I mean, it's very obvious that a lot of players online don't like fighting Jackie Briggs. But in situations like that, the low hat kept her in check. So
But it's not just that. How was Foxy dealing with it from a long range? He was neutral crouching it. He wasn't blocking. If you block those machine guns, it raises your hitbox. You actually then take chip damage from it, and it builds her meter for every bullet hit. So normally, right, if you block every machine gun by neutral crouching, she'll build a whole bar of meter in 3 machine guns. It takes 17 to build 1 bar if you let it whiff over your head.
But in situations where you have the life lead, if you get in that one time and then land a combo on Jackie, even if she goes full screen, right, it takes, as we mentioned, 17 machine gun shots when neutral crouched to build 1 bar of meter. Neutral crouching eliminates that entirely. So if you neutral crouch, the machine gun whiffs completely. So if you've got the life lead on Jackie, why is her being full screen shooting machine guns a problem?
She can't get the life lead back without...
Foxy was playing on the life lead. He had like when he was almost dead and he had way more health. The thing he was doing was he was sitting full screen and just neutral crouching. Because what's she going to do? Like, is she going to just shoot and just take forever and a day to build bar while the timer's ticking down? He has the bar to work with. She has to get in. And he has the meat button spin. He has the low hat to check her with. Like, the second Jackie has to get in because she just can't afford to zone all day, that's when it becomes quite tricky for her to do well.
But just like that, we're moving into Grand Finals, where it'll be Mitsu Owens versus Foxy Grandpa. Foxy manages to find his way into the finals 2 weeks running, so he is 1 match away from being able to win another $500 and another 100 placement points. But at the same time, Mitsu Owens is also very close to his first victory. So very well played to Fasol. Massive congratulations on making it this far yet again. I have no doubt we'll be seeing you this week as well in this next week's Top 16.
We have the Grand Finals just about to start though, guys. This is your final chance of the night to make your predictions. If you think Foxy's going to win, predict for Foxy. And if you think Mitsu Owens is going to win, then predict for him also. As we've mentioned before, the higher you predict your stuff, the more points you earn, the higher chance you have of earning a free copy of the game as a prize. So best of luck to all those that have predicted. I hope you guys get some cool stuff and hope your predictions are correct.
Well, you guys watching are potentially like, what, 10 minutes away from winning a free copy of the game, so that's not bad.
That's pretty cool.
You just watching Mortal Kombat this evening, but now you win something. That's all
You
right.
win Mortal Kombat for watching Mortal Kombat.
How
about that?
Yeah, that's
How
all
about
right.
that? But I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting Grand Finals because Foxy punishes everything. He knows his punishes.
You're taking Vortex behind good execution, high damage, Vortex versus Kung Lao. So this could very much go either way. Because at the end of the day, a Vortex is a Vortex. If you have to guess, you have to guess.
So how good you are, 50-50 is a 50-50.
But something we have been seeing is Mitsu Owens has been doing the throw a lot off a 50-50, which obviously sets you back to neutral again. So you could win off one touch if you commit and you really be brave in your reads.
But if you commit to a throw, you're going to get meter burn spun for your trouble. So
Yeah.
meter burn, we may indeed see meter burn spin here when we think Foxy's going to go in and do some pressure. But who knows? Looks like both players are almost ready to go. We're going to have Scorpion versus Kung Lao, as I expected. I don't think either character is going to change character this late in the tournament, especially when you've got so far with this fighter.
Well, the thing is, it's also variations, because they make just as much of a difference as the characters, because Buzzsaw Lao gives the low hat. The low hat is what's giving so many people issues, because without the low hat, blocking strings is easy. It is a walk in the park. But as soon as you get that in the mix, what do you do about it? You need Buzzsaw to get that move, and that's what's giving people problems.
Buzzsaw Lao, it's a very sort of go-to variation. I mean, Foxy started with Tempest. He very quickly made the transition into Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw's very similar to Mortal Kombat 9 Kung Lao, which
It's
I think is
very
what's giving
true
people a
to
lot of comfort.
MK9 Lao. It's very true to MK9 Lao, I think. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting set because Mitsuones is crazy. You know, he's nuts. He's not afraid to commit because his reads are so strong. But against Kung Lao, he's going to get punished really hard. And Foxy's pressure is, as we've seen, very scary to deal with. And he knows how to punish. He knows how to bait. He knows how to condition. So whether Mitsuones is going to be able to kind of conquer that is another story. But I really hope it's a good set.
But the thing is, Scorpion, he's safe on a few of his things, but he's always minus, if anything. He's negative on block. Negative frames is all that Kung Lao needs to beat you. He doesn't need punishing. He literally just needs a string that he can get into a low hat. That's all he needs to start this stuff. All he needs is meter and negative strings.
One low hat.
Meter and negative frames even.
One low hat, and Kung Lao he's begun. He's doing his thing. He's in gear, basically. He's ready to go.
If you're at home, if you think you could take either of the guys in today's grand final, please visit esl.gg/MKX Pro League to find out how you two can get involved in these tournaments. They are free to enter and open to absolutely anybody. So if you're watching and you think you can take these guys out, enter and see what you can do. We'd love to see you play.
We've seen so many players here in this top 16 and the previous one that are new blood, players that we haven't seen very much of. And it's because of this ESL league where they've been able to play online, they've been able to qualify, participate in the top 16, and really make a name for themselves when they otherwise just wouldn't have the chance to. I mean, not everyone can attend offline tournaments, these grassroots tournaments that, you know, are absolutely fantastic, but not everyone can actually enter them because of, you know, engagements and stuff like that. But these online leagues make it much easier for you to participate. So if you are confident and you want to take part, then we highly recommend taking part because the thrill of a tournament is always fantastic, especially when it's not costing you anything and it requires minimal effort to actually enter.
You lose nothing by taking part. You are only set to gain. You win money, you win league points. You lose about 5-10 minutes of your day, which you probably would have spent playing Mortal Kombat anyway.
But one of the important things is also the experience.
Yes.
Like a tournament online or offline is important experience because the tournament pressure is something that will get to every player. It does affect you, no matter what player you are in the world. If you are on a stage, if you're in top 8, if you're in top 4, if you're in top 16 or whatever, the pressure can get to you because then you sometimes feel there is now a requirement for you to do well.
And there is one way to get over tournament nerves, and that's by playing in tournaments. So if you can do that online, where it's even more comfortable, then you're setting yourself up for some good stuff.
So both players are almost ready to go here. I do think we are going to have Buzzsaw Kung Lao versus Inferno Scorpion pretty much as we expected.
I would say that's fair. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing any changes either. I mean, both players have lost at least one game coming up into this point, so the option to change has been there, and neither player's taken up on it.
I think both players are loading up here. It looks like we have got Mitsuones going for Inferno Scorpion against Foxy's Buzzsaw Kung Lao.
So best of luck to you guys out there making your prediction points. Hopefully in a few minutes you'll be able to win yourself a copy of the game. But these guys are playing for big money and big league points. So let's see how this is going to go now.
Let's hope this is a good set because Foxy needs to be dethroned. I mean, that down 4 is phenomenally good at just getting the first hit. And that was a lovely counter poke with that meat bend teleport. And here we go.
Mitsuones is really putting a stamp on this game as to how risky he's willing to play to win this tournament.
Oh, and he gets this wrong. Here comes the low. And here comes the next mix-up. This is going to be a full combo into low minion once again, which is once again going to combo into a Vortex. Lovely grab just to reset the situation. Oh, wow, and he tags him. I'm sure that was supposed to be something else, but it works out in the end anyway. Right, here comes Foxy. Can he make the comeback? Here comes the low. He commits. Is Foxy going to make this comeback? Who knows?
Just the raw overheads from
double
neutral.
overhead. But again, the threat of that wake-up attack is always there. You can't completely press the momentum because raw teleport right there. Great stuff. Here comes the pressure into a low hat.
Ooh, wow.
Instant air teleport. Mitsuones he's so nuts. He doesn't care. But it's working so well for him. Oh, low minion on block. So good.
This is just full-on risky play right now, but it could not be making more sense right now.
Unfortunately, Foxy did not have the stamina available, so he was actually unable to capitalize on that convert. But Mitsuones, no slouch, putting in work here in this set.
Does his corner swap again, that Foxy Grandpa special.
Ooh,
wow!
Environment interaction makes the jump in whiff. Great stuff. And that's going to be a full combo punish. He resets it. He doesn't actually want Scorpion to break. That was very smart. He's going to have to break that situation. Here we go.
Oh! The reactions. You cannot play games with those sorts of reactions. He sees that teleport. He will dive kick it. That's all he needed. And now he's winning. Well, winning. He's tied it up. But he is looking at a life lead right now in round 3.
Unfortunately, drops his convert. But the meat bend spin will anti-air cleanly. You just cannot anti-air. You can't jump into Kung Lao when he's got bar. And that was a very good break. He had to break in that situation. But here comes Kung Lao. Here comes that crazy
Comra's
pressure.
right. Mitsuones is playing very risky, but every block, even if it's not full combo punishable, every block is giving Foxy momentum, which is, again, that's all Kung Lao needs.
He's getting some very unfortunate dive kick whiffs here. He's only getting one hit, which doesn't give him the full combo. He's still getting damage, but he seems to be dropping a lot of damage here. Oh, he tries to get the teleport, but that's going to be a full punish here. All right, here comes the hard knockdown. Is he going to teleport again? Is he going to see it? Are we going to see it? Oh, he commits it to the low minion! And that's going to take
it all. He bet it all on the low minion. Oh, God. We are... Oh, Foxy Grandpa with the reverse disrespect.
I think it's because...
I think he's been watching Mitsuone's games up until this point.
I think he's gone, if you're going to be disrespectful and troll, then I think I'm going to disrespect and troll you back.
Oh,
my
no.
days. I mean, by no means is Mitsuone's out of that at all. He had a very solid first round, a very dominant first round where he got his Vortex on the go. As we said, guys, like, the second Mitsuones gets going, it's hard to stop him.
He was making some plays in that game. Like, he was making some really good decisions. He was getting some good damage. And he took round 1 very, very convincingly. And he almost took round 2. And he got some good damage in 3. Like, if you can do that much damage, you can win a game. So it's a question of, will he be able to take the set?
Looks like
you've got to
Mitsuones
keep yourself composed.
Looks like he's gone back for Inferno Scorpion. He's just going to run it back, go straight for the character he was using, and he's going to try and take it.
He could have won that game, you know? He got damage, he took the round. If you can do that, then why change? Especially if you won with that up until this point.
But it depends on how we're going to see adaptation here, because Foxy always takes... It seems like he takes a round to get going. He has very... like, a lot of times we see dominant first rounds against him, and then he'll 3-0 the whole set. It's kind of crazy, really, how... Sometimes he needs to get going, but
he adapts very quickly, that's the thing. But again, at the end of the day, you can adapt, but again, guessing is guessing. 50-50s and 50-50s.
And he's really good at enforcing those. He's really good at getting that important touch, leading it into Spear, which will then put the Vortex in. Oh, really great stuff. That is why this guy has no fear, and it pays off for him.
Oh, good punish on the low minion, not letting him get away with it. Mitsuone's very much in this though.
The MK9 anti-air of the standing 1. Lovely anti-air there. Is he going to try and teleport? Yeah, he reads the teleport. He cancels it, but it doesn't really matter at that point.
But again, I'm pretty sure Foxy reacted to the cancel, and that's why, because I think his reaction on the dive kick won him game 1, but then it won him round 1 here. Like, his reactions are on point.
Oh,
he's like
Foxy
nothing to
catching
miss.
him. Here we go again. I mean, but he's got loads of meter, but he's baiting him so hard here. He just isn't able to get anything going. Unfortunately, he drops the combo, but at this point, it doesn't really seem to matter that much.
This is a question of when very risky play gets punished very hard. Like, your wins will be landslides, but your losses will also be very punishing.
But the thing is, Mitsuones, he's not letting it deter him. He's still going for this unsafe stuff because he's still making these reads, like right there. He doesn't care that he's getting punished because he's still confident and he's still getting these touches that he needs. Oh, that crazy forward too. That is an overhead, ladies and gentlemen. Must be blocked standing up. Oh, he doesn't commit to anything. He does hit confirm that. Good stuff there.
No, we're seeing really good play from Mitsuones right now. He's got to just keep himself together. Oh no, that's what it took. That's all it took. Are we seeing brutality? Of course we are.
I'm starting to feel like the way Mitsuones is now starting to play, where he's committing into a lot of unsafe stuff, it's winning him rounds, but it is costing him games.
Yeah, so it's a question of, I keep saying that, but it's a matter of recognizing what's losing you games and just trying to stop it. Because if you've got this far by playing this risky, that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, you can stop yourself from making these very risky decisions in situations where a lot of the time it's, I don't want to say obvious, but it's a likely thing. He's going to teleport in this situation. He's going to do a low minion on this situation. But he's doing a lot of 2-1s into low minion or overhead minion. Both of them are unsafe on block, and Foxy's punishing them consistently. 2-1 by itself, completely safe. So if you see 2-1 get blocked, don't do anything. If you see it hit, then confirm. That's why you don't always have to dial these things in. It's very important to hit confirm. You can be brave and you can make these reads, but it's better to hit confirm because you leave yourself safer and you don't lose as many matches.
Well, the thing is, he's making some good reads here. He's getting these important touches that he needs to win. But the only issue is, it's winning him, as I mentioned earlier, it's winning him rounds, but it's costing him games. So there are situations where, yes, he's winning rounds based on this really unsafe stuff, but at the same time, when the pressure's on and Foxy's just waiting for it, it still comes, and then that's when the punish appears and the combo loses in the whole game. Foxy's now 2-0 up. I was really hoping this week that maybe someone would really bring it to Foxy, but it's been a very dominant tournament for him so far.
It's not over yet.
But let's not count him out. Let's not count out Mitsuones.
It's not over.
He's here for a reason.
But like I said before, Kung Lao is a very momentum-based character, and having won this up until this point like this, I expect to see a lot of risky play from Foxy and a lot of hard reads because he knows he has games and rounds to work with. So it's going to be difficult, but Mitsuones can bring this back if he really just tightens up this safer play.
Well, that double overhead is actually fully unsafe on block, and most of the time you expect Kung Lao to actually commit to something, so you wait for the follow-up. Tags him before the minion comes out, but here comes Low Hat once again. Oh, lovely grab. Oh, that's going to be a full combo punish. Doesn't quite get the confirm, but really funny trade there as well. That's where he wants to get in. Tag him right before he gets it. Just like, I really like that break from Mitsuones. There's no reason to give up this round at this point. He's got all the health he needs, and he gets the hit. This could be it for Mitsuones. A return break by himself. Oh, it doesn't quite bite there. The Low Hat recovers in time. Doesn't quite get the hit confirm on it, unfortunately, but here's Mitsuones in the corner. He's got to fight his way through. The next touch, this combo won't kill, but the next touch will. Is he going to wake up? Oh, he gets hit by it. I don't think Foxy was expecting that, but tournament point, Foxy already. This could be one round away from bagging himself another 100 league points, bringing him up to 200 league points. I mean, crazy stuff. Foxy really is the one to beat right now. I mean, if he wins this, he is by far the most dominant player in this ESL league in Europe. But, you know, Mitsuones, let's not count him out.
He's fighting back, he's fighting back.
He's got this, he has the Vortex. He knows how to implement it. He knows how to win. And there we go, he catches him before the teleport comes out.
Wonderful use of the sprint. Oh no, he tries to go for it again, but it was already used up. Mitsuones needs to really keep his head together right here.
Oh, he goes for a jump kick teleport. That kind of stuff won't really work at this point. Oh no, Foxy. No. Oh no, Foxy. Don't do this. Don't do this. Oh no. Oh no!
Mitsuones hasn't given up. He's still going for these. All he needs is that one minion grab. At this health, Scorpion can't kill.
Oh, good overhead.
50-50. He'll chip you down. He'll throw you. Oh no, but
this won't do it. He's still alive. The next touch will do it. No, Foxy, what are you doing? Oh, it's done.
Oh,
the combo's done. Foxy, you troll. You troll.
And we see the brutality to finish things off. So that is week 2. Goes to Foxy Grandpa as well. Who can beat this guy?
He is, by pure definition right now, unstoppable. It's pretty crazy. I mean, like, there are people here that they have good games. They have really strong rounds, but he just keeps winning these sets.
We want one of you watching, enter this league and beat him. Do what he did, do that to him. That's what I want to see. I want to see one of you guys enter this tournament, beat him, and then rob him of that $500.
I mean, we've had people on social media that were saying that they were going to destroy Foxy. Unfortunately, it's just not quite gone through, unfortunately. But, you know, it's all good. Huge congratulations to Foxy, and also huge congratulations to Mitsuones for getting grand finals with Scorpion.
Dude, he bagged himself 75 league points, $300. Like, that's all right. That's all right. And he did really well getting up until this point. And I have no doubt, again, we'll see him very much in this top 16 as we go on. I have no doubt.
For those of you at home, thank you all very much for watching. If you'd like to stay up to date on future tournaments and the results of this one, in terms of brackets for the future tournaments, you know, there's a week 3 will start this Sunday where they'll play through the top 16. You can go to ESL Mortal Kombat or NetherRealm on Twitter, or ESL Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat on Facebook for all the information you need on this online league. But as you can see there, like, there's a lot of 3-0s there from Foxy. I mean, this guy he's pretty crazy at this point. He knows what he needs to do to win.
The only player that's been able to take games off him in the actual league right now in the top 16s has been Nivek. And it's been one apiece, but he's the only guy that's been taking games off him. But at the same time, Nivek's only opponent that he's lost to has been Foxy Grandpa. We are seeing these very dominant players putting the time in, putting the practice in, consistently entering and doing really well. But it's not even that. We're seeing the same players making top 8, top 16. But it's the same for CIS. It's the same for North America. Like,
consistency is absolutely fantastic.
Good players are consistently competing and performing. And that's what we want to see. We want to see people really making the most of this opportunity, to go to this LA Burbank finals where you can play for that huge money. And the competition is long from over. You watching have plenty of time to get involved yourself. Please get involved. There's so much to play for, so much money to be won, and so much good experience. If you are one of those 16 players, people will know who you are. So like I said last time, you will be a name as soon as you enter that tournament.
But absolutely though, thank you all very much for watching. We will see you next time, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. There's some really good quality play here. I am Ketchup.
I am Mustard.
And you have watched week 2 of the top 16 for the EU ESL Mortal Kombat X Pro League presented by Xbox. Take care, guys.
See you later.